Podcast is live.
My name is James Rowlands. In 2015, I teamed up with my friend Dan White to create the WNR podcast. Since then, we have been giving you everything that's happened on the WWE Network. Now, in 2018, not only are we live for the Big Four events and every NXT TakeOver, but we celebrate 20 years since the birth of the Attitude Era. Plus, every month we'll bring you 205 Live, collections, new content, W pay-per-views and latest news on the WWE Network. Until we have watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR.
Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR174. It's WWE Summerslam 2018 live kickoff. And I'm excited to be here. Dan, are you looking forward to SummerSlam?
I am looking very excited to SummerSlam. There's a few good matches on the cards, and hopefully it lives up to the hype.
Yes, let's hope that it does. I mean, after a spectacular night, NXT TakeOver last night, first of all, I should say thank you for everybody who listened to us last night. We had over 20,000 of you listening to us live. We appreciate it. Hopefully you're listening again here tonight. But first, we talked about SummerSlam being the important event, and Mr. Terry Crews has got something to say about that.
Tell me something. When you think of success, what do you see? Fame? Fortune? The green glow of that hypothetical money tree? Shouldn't be. To measure success, you decide what's your best. A deep dig down to the depths. It's the dreams, the desire that pump through your chest. Whoa, what was that? That heartbeat that drives you. And once you find it, then you grind to bind the moments that define success for you. Because here, this is where dreams come true.
And I cannot wait to see what we have in store. Big fight feel. Two superstars with journeys around the globe, all leading to this point.
Now you're ready to stand up front, undeterred and unafraid, riding the spotlight that you've made, knowing that all the world's a stage.
Step up to the moment, step up to the bright lights, step up and perform.
Dedication, passion, sacrifice make all of this possible.
We are about to see a classic.
You'll cry, sweat, bleed, and you'll scream. You'll shout, "Hey world, look at me! Welcome to my dream!" So tell me once again, what is success? What defines this greatness? How bad do you want it? How far will you take this? So go ahead, take a bow. We'll give you a hand. And in return, bear witness to another epic SummerSlam. It just feels so damn good.
So yes, it is SummerSlam, the WNR's second Summerslam Live. But before we do anything, we've got the alternate intro, and it's my job on the live show to start us off. A new boy in the neighbourhood lives downstairs, and it's understood. He's there to take good care of me, like he's one of the family. Charles in charge of our days and our nights. Charles in charge. Charles in charge of our wrongs and our rights. So I say, I want Charles in charge of me. Boom! I nailed that. What's to expect on tonight's show, Dan?
On tonight's show, we've got new content on the network. We've got 205 Live, latest news, Raw and SmackDown wrap-up, injuries, shout-outs, games, and looking at the card in our detail.
Yeah, but first we're going to look at the new collections. So yeah, new WWE collections for August. Dan, kick us off.
Well, we've got the collection of Jericho. And break down the walls with the collection of Jericho featuring Chris Jericho's greatest rivalries with The Rock, Triple H, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Owens, and all the other stupid idiots who made the list. Drinking the Lionheart's early days in ECW and WCW, crack the code with the highlight reel matches in WWE, and find out why he is the best in the world at what he does. Witness the WWE's first ever undisputed champion, the second coming of the Saviour, and the birth of Raw is Jericho.
Well, if anybody deserved the WWE Network collection, it probably is Chris Jericho, just because of what his career has spanned. And like I say, this goes back all the way to ECW and the WCW stuff that we're watching now, leading in, coming over and being Y2J. And I mean, there's just so many great moments and matches to pick out. If someone had never seen a Jericho match before, Dan, which one would you pick out to, or what a couple of them would you say, or you have to go and watch this one? I think for me would be the last man standing match between Triple H and Jericho at Fully Loaded 2000. I think that's when Jericho truly arrived in the kind of WWF, and they thought to themselves, right, we've got a main event star there as well. Also, the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Jericho is an absolute crack. I think that's No Mercy 2008, and it really shows a kind of different side to him as well. What would you pick?
I'd say, well, have a look at his earlier matches, and you see, like, you know, the young Chris Jericho. You know, we've been going back to WCW in 1998, and you know, just seeing him in his rivalries against Dean Malenko, Juventud Guerrera, Rey Mysterio, even Eddie Guerrero. You know, just seeing him making a name for himself, and then you know, you could just go back and watch the evolution of Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is, you know, and he does change his character. There's certain things that he did when he was early on that he doesn't do now, and I think that's what makes him a great wrestler. But for the next collection, please, can we have quiet on the set, please? Because it's The Miz, the A-lister, the most must-see collection on the WWE Network, is here. Join The Miz for exclusive bonus material featuring a behind-the-scenes interview discussing his A-list career. Experience the journey from reality personality to WWE superstardom as the WrestleMania main event and 8-time Intercontinental Champion. Additions, supporting cast members such as John Cena, Daniel Bryan, The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, and many more. The former WWE Champion comes to play in some of the biggest blockbusters battles in WWE history. When a collection goes up, your mouth goes shut. Lights, camera, awesome! I am so glad that this collection is on the WWE Network. There is so much you go and see if this WrestleMania 27 when he main evented against John Cena for the WWE Championship, and he won, of course, cashing in against Randy Orton as well, and everything else in his long, industrious career.
We've also got new classic content for August 2018. It's arrived to the WWE Network once again, and it's an offering you don't want to miss. Relive some of your favourite matches starring your childhood heroes, or experience them for the very first time. You'll have a hard time choosing your favourite with superstars like The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, and Macho Man Randy Savage, accompanied by the lovely Miss Elizabeth. Get a small taste of this nearly 50 unforgettable hours with this collection of 10 classic titles, originally distributed by the Coliseum Home Video. Bask in the nostalgia from the 80s and early 90s exclusively on the Dark.
And what's weird now, the WWE Network is catching up with my video collection, because like The Undertaker, he bears them all. I've got a video. Same here. The Sunny one I was a bit disappointed with, because she said, you know, there was a lot of pictures of her, and then you watch it and it's about the Body Dollars defending tag team titles and stuff like that. So It's not the best excitement, but coming in September, we got Stephanie McMahon, brand leader, the Hardys Team Extreme, and of course new classic content. Yeah, so other new content, we've got Table for Free, which was Women's Championship Evolution. That was on the 6th of August. There's Nia Jax, Natalia, and Beth Phoenix. And also, I get emails from the WWE Network, and it's basically one of Austin, relive the Attitude Era because Stone Cold. If you want to relive the Attitude Era on the network, what better companion there is than the WNR podcast, WWE vs. WCW one, where we look back at WWE and WCW 20 years ago. But other new content, Dan?
You've got the new series premiere, which is Superstar Picks. And ever wonder which moments in WWE history captivated today's superstars? Who were their inspirations? What were their favourite matches? Well, find out in the new WWE Network series, Superstar Picks.
Yeah, and people, obviously, everybody's Banks and Chris Jericho and a lot more. Over 30 episodes of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling from 1985 to 1993 have been added. And the library of the WNR continues to grow. We talked about the 50 additions to it, or 50 hours of edition, sorry. We're going to read out what actual tapes from the Coliseum Home Video stuff is now on the network.
So you've got 1985, the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan.
You've got Andre the Giant.
You've got Roddy Piper's Greatest Hits.
The 1986, The Life and Times of Captain Lou Albano.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
The British Bulldogs.
Bruno Sammartino, Living Legend.
Macho Man and Elizabeth.
1987, you got George the Animal Steel.
The Heart Foundation.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
The Ken Patera story, which sounds like a kind of mid-afternoon soap drama.
The 1988, you've got Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Macho Madness.
89, you've got Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Ultimate Warrior.
Hulk Hogan, Real American.
Demolition.
In 92, you've got The
Ultimate Warrior.
And 1993 UK fan favourites.
Global Warfare.
Bret Hart Greatest Matches.
British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
The Undertaker Faces of Fear.
Paul Bearer, Hits from the Crypt in 94.
Razor Ramon.
German fan favourites.
Now, I googled that and I got a completely different result than I was expecting. And then 1995, The Undertaker, the one I actually got, that buries them alive. I thought that was the end of it, and then I went off of the page.
You've got Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
Shawn Michaels, I got that one as well.
27, you got Sonny.
So there we go, a home video there. And also we had Table for Free as well, Hardy, Woods and Ryder. You watched that, Dan, what are your thoughts on it?
I actually quite enjoyed it, yeah. It's all about going viral. You had Woods talking about his up, down, like his gaming channel and that, and the WWE wanted to take it under their banner, but he said, no, I want to do it my way, so we're going to keep it small. We're going to have my pick. It's not going to be over-edited. You had Zack Ryder talking about, he had an early YouTube channel talking about like his little promos because he wasn't on TV much. And, of course, Matt Hardy, when his broken or woken gimmick came into it, he was mainly doing that on social media. He was getting told when the episodes were there because they'd be pre-taped, so he could put out his tweets in time with that, so they correspond with the episodes. It was really good.
No, it's really good. That's what the network can do. Now, we've got a couple of series we like. One of them I will watch. I really want some more like breaking ground and kind of behind-the-scenes stuff. What network program would you want there to be a little bit more of?
I want more photo shoots. We haven't had one for a while. I've been complaining at James about it, and he's not done anything. I need to have a word with my Twitter friend Vince Russo and see if he can put in a word with Vinnie Mac.
Yeah, well, we'll see what we can do for you, Dan. We're hoping for that. There is a new series of Storytime that is out now, a animated show, and I'm tempted to get into Total Divas and Total Bellas because that's something that I've not touched yet on the network, and of course we'll let the listener know if we do that. But one of the things we do, that was new content. The other thing that we watch is 205 Live, and we're going to catch up with 2 episodes, but let's not get too greedy. Let's start with the very first one. So yeah, our first episode, 205 Live, episode 89, August 7th, 2018.
Whatever sent Mustafa Ali to the hospital isn't keeping him out of action for 2 straight weeks. He's back tonight to battle another man who came up short in the battle to challenge Cruiserweight champion Cedric Alexander at SummerSlam, Hideo Itami. The Japanese legend took the heart of 205 Live out of the running for a WrestleMania rematch. So DM the GM is letting them settle ring.
Well, said would have liked to have Ali watching his back last Tuesday. Despite picking up a win over the Brian Kendrick, he fell to the numbers game when number one contender Drew Gulak and gentleman Jack Gallagher jumped him after the referee raised his arm. Drake Maverick wasn't having it, but Gulak's message has been sent.
Heading into Orlando, we're also still following the issues between Akira Tozawa and Leo Rush. A feud pitting TJP against Noam Dar. A feud pitting TJP against Noam Dar. And Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese trying to end the Lucha House party.
Well, Drake Maverick brings us in, recapping Kalisto's win over Tony Nese from last week and revealing our opener is Kalisto and Lince Dorado versus Nese and Buddy Murphy. He also recaps Itami's repeated attacks on Ali in multi-man encounters, saying Mustafa's returned from a medical scare to face Hideo in the main event.
Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness and Percy Watson/Jackson welcome us to Orlando, prepping us for our pair of first-time encounters tonight and informing us we'll also check in with Cedric after he was jumped by Gulak and crew last Tuesday.
Well, Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese defeat Lucha House Party, which is Kalisto and Lince Dorado with Grand Metalik via pinfall with a roll-up and a handful of tights.
Joseph reminds us about Lince's strained thumb ligament when he starts with Murphy. The Aussie overpowers him and the heels isolate him in the corner early, but Dorado fights back. Both teams get tags and Kalisto gets a near fall on Buddy after a fast-paced sequence.
Well, before he can try for anything else though, blind tagging Nese pulls the former champ off the apron to put Kalisto in peril. He eventually jaw-jacks Murphy, but even after a springboard roll-up, Buddy is between him and his corner. When he finally gets there after fighting off both his opponent, Tony pulls Lince off the apron. He finally kicks Nese off him into Murphy, then crack heads, and Lince comes in hot.
He cleans house and gets a close 2 count on a sit-out, facebuster inverted suplex, but Buddy breaks it up. Lince catches them both with double lethal injection, then tags Kalisto, and they connect with tandem dives. When they get back in the ring, though, Murphy roughly throws Dorado out to the floor. Kalisto goes for his finisher on Nese, but Tony ducks under. Murphy trips him up from the floor, and when Kalisto goes to yell at him, we get the finish.
Well, the announced team shows Ali's tweet from the hospital, and then Mustafa is taping himself up in the locker room. DM, the GM, comes in to check on him. Drake is worried, but Ali assures him the doc told him to slow down, so he did, and everything's fine. Maverick is still worried, but ends up hearing what he needs to hear from Ali.
Itami is working out backstage and cuts a promo in Japanese before saying, Mustafa Ali, you should have shown me respect.
Well, Noam Dar gets a typically great W video package. He gets overconfident, full of himself, but the injury brought him back down to earth. The Scottish Supernova refocused on what got him to the show in the first place. He let TJP get in his head, and when he targeted his knee last time. But it won't happen again, Dan. It won't happen. TJP got lucky.
Well, Noam Dar defeated Sean Maluta via pinfall following a Supernova kick.
Well, Maluta got about a minute to work the knee, but otherwise this was a quick win for Noam. TJP was watching for the monitor, but was mostly disinterested and even was on his phone for a while.
After a highlight of the end of last week's show featuring Drake Maverick's run-in save for Cedric, we check with the champ. Alexander says he understands why Gulak attacked with his guys because he knows he can't win one-on-one. He wants a shot at Jack Gallagher next week.
Well, Drew's at his podium with Gallagher and Brian Kendrick flanking him. If the champ is foolish enough to want to face someone else before their title match in Brooklyn, he accepts on Jack's behalf. Gulak will be focused on the same thing the WWE Universe is, his winning the title SummerSlam to bring about a better 205 Live.
And it is time for the main event, which is Hideo Itami versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, and after a typical technical stalemate to open, Ali speeds things up and gets an early cover after a crossbody. He looks a little winded, however, and begins showing signs of fatigue, lightheadedness, holding his back from the hospital visit. And we've seen it throughout the match, and I mean, that's not going to help now. Itami kicking Ali off the apron right into the ring post, and now he's down. But I've been really impressed with Mustafa Ali, and I'm surprised Hideo Itami's still around as well after having his chance last time. You'd think maybe he wouldn't be involved as much or go back in the line, but he's still quite a prominent member of the 205 Live roster. I still think Ali Lowe's got a lot of potential. What are your thoughts on Mustafa Ali? Who do you prefer out of the two?
I prefer Mustafa Ali. He's like the Ricochet of 205 Live. You know, there's not a lot that guy can't do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, he's great in ring, And the thing about Ali, he can do stuff that not many people can. But I think the same with Atami, you know, not in a kind of high-flying way. The way the strikes and what he can do technically in the ring. For me, and I've had a problem, you told me to calm down there, I still think he's very bland. The trunks are very, you know, samey. There's not really any personality. Yeah, he cut a Japanese promo earlier, but we've not really seen anything else from him, you know. And the way he wrestles, he's very reminiscent of a kind of heel in WWE of being overconfident. You know, like the way Baron Corbin wrestles, even though he's a cruiserweight, of being in control, disrespecting the opponent like he's doing now with Ali, and then gets caught out in the end. You know, it just, I think, makes him look weaker than it does look stronger in a way, because it makes him look stupid, and you shouldn't really do that. You should be quite clever.
Well, I think, you know, it's he was better when he was in NXT. I think, you know, nothing against the Twi-5 Live guys, but I think, you know, NXT suited Hideo Itami's style a bit better. You know, it's him using the GTS. I think, you know, that was kind of things. Oh, you know, he may be a punk in the making, or, you know, he may obviously being the originator of the GTS. You know, maybe he was someone that Punk kind of emulated and looked up to, but it's like, you know, no.
Well, it's weird, yeah, because he had the kind of we always talk about Nakamura, because like when he came in Itami, the push was for him basically. That was going to be him to go on to great things. With Nakamura, obviously got more of a personality, and Itami, I'm just not so sure. I don't see him winning Cruiserweight Gold, and if I can't see him winning the Cruiserweight title, then I don't know if I can see him winning anything else in WWE either. You know, I think it's going to be difficult. Whereas Ali, I think there's always potential for someone like him, because he's the kind of babyface in peril and he plays it off well. I think his selling's good, you know, he's become popular. And the other thing I like, his name's Mustafa Ali and he's a babyface. How many times do we get this with the kind of guys like this where he's from Chicago and he's getting treated? This is going to help relationships and people understand, you know, about Muslims or anything else like that through the wrestling, because then it will just become commonplace, you know. I think that's really important. As Itami just striking away at Ali.
But when Mustafa Ali comes out of pay-per-views and main events, you know, he's got that great gimmick with the lasers, and you know, I think it's things that you can add to your character that help make it a bit better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. You know, we've seen him like a cool Power Ranger. Catches Itami there, but only gets a 2. Now back to his feet with the chops. Ali's desperately fighting with the injury. Rolls out the way of Itami there on the apron. Big step up in security. Sends Itami back.
Dives through the second rope, but goes straight into a kick to the face from Itami, and it just folds him up.
Yeah, the old expression, fold him up like an accordion. He really did there. Itami shocked that only got 2. And I think so am I a little bit. Now Itami picking Ali up, maybe going for the GTS. Ali blocking out of it, pushing him away. Now running the ropes. Well, that was a lovely drop kick by Ali there. I'm trying to get some momentum into this. Time for Hideo. And now Ali, talk about building momentum in the match. But Itami reverses the Irish whip. Slide by Ali, rolls out again. Another kick to the face. And Itami, not knowing what's good for him, comes riding back in. Now Ali again rolls back in.
Oh, X Factor.
This could be it.
2. Oh no.
Ali somehow Itami down. He gets his shoulder up at 2. Now a little bit maybe frustration for Ali, but he still hasn't hit his big move yet. Like I said, the reverse 450. Oh, and now Mustafa Ali trying to suplex Itami. Itami rolls behind. German suplex by Ali with a back elbow. Responds with a big boot by Itami. Tries a clothesline. Ali ducks that. Super kick from behind. Itami responds though. Spinning back fist. And now both men down. Great action in main event of 205 Live right now. I think whoever does first will have the advantage. Itami goes behind. Tries to roll up Ali. Goes into the turnbuckle. Looks like he hit an elbow. Then the big boot comes running up. Looks like he tried that tilt-a-whirl DDT, but gets caught in a Falcon Arrow. Or somehow Ali managed to kick out. And now you can definitely see the frustration on on Itami's face. Now it's putting Ali up on that top turnbuckle. And gets slapped across the face as well. And Itami going up. And Itami screams, saying it's his time. Maybe going to go for a superplex.
No, Ali plants him face first into the mat. Itami rolls over, but he catches him.
Oh my God.
sit out powerbomb, and that was very hard on the back of the net.
That's so vertical down. Ali can't believe the time he got shoulder up at 2. But that's what Ali could do. Looked like he's in trouble and turns it into an offensive move.
Both men struggling to get up to their feet.
And now Ali maybe with a slight advantage, but Atami maybe he's playing possum.
Hello, possums!
He
Pulls him face first into the turnbuckle.
It looked like he had that dragon sleeve, maybe the kick, but Ali pushes Atami away.
It kicks Ali in the back of the head.
I think Atami had a lip busted as well. Goes back to it, turns it, tries to get the kick.
Ali spins out, pushes him into the corner.
Oh!
But Itami turns him upside down into the turnbuckle. And yeah, Itami may have some internal bleeding.
Well, goes for the cover. Ali may well be out here. No.
The heart's still beating in Ali, so he's not going to stay down.
Well, I think Atami's shot tries to go again, but Ali still got fight left in him. Ali now can't get to his feet, and Atami, I wonder what he's got planned, bringing him towards the ring post.
Draping his head next to the steel stairs.
And Atami going for a run up. This might end Ali's career.
Oh, Ali moving out of the way. Itami hitting nothing but steel steps.
He's got a look at his face like he's just trying to kill me. Oh my God.
Plants Itami with a tornado DDT after he springboards off the second.
Ali is definitely a risk taker, but Itami may be out. But unfortunately for Ali, he's right on the outside. And now Ali's going to seize the moment.
He's looking for his inverted 450.
And he's up for the reverse 450. Here he goes. Oh, wait a minute. Looked very dizzy there. Let's not forget he's been in hospital. That come back to haunt him there. Got crotched on the top. Back in a trio O. Uh-oh. He realises it. Oh.
Comes running in with a low drop kick.
I think he's finished. Oh.
Hits a second one. He's running back for the third.
Well, a hat trick of drop kicks. Rolls Ali in. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Itami gets the victory there. Looked a bit aggressive. I mean, that's a good side of Itami. But what are your thoughts on that match?
I thought it was a good match. I'm not sure that, the part that Ali's injury played into it. He was doing really well. Then he went up the top, got all lightheaded. It seems a bit cockamamie to me. But, if it helps advance the storyline. And it's given Itami a bit of a push as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to see him getting a victory after coming out unsuccessful against Cedric Alexander. And I guess all the punishment Ali took led up to that moment in the match. But I think he'll be back if he can recover strong as ever. But Itami gets the victory. I mean, that kick that folded Ali out, that was brilliant. We're just in a replay of that now. Couple of really good match, good moments. Another strong main event for 205 Live, and this is what they're delivering, and not a bad episode. So that's not bad. We'll take a break from 205 for a second. A few shout-outs. Should say, apologise to anybody that worried about Vince McMahon on Twitter when we said before live show that would he show up in time. Would you just like to tell everybody where you were, just in case, Mark Tardis got really, really upset. He thought he'd maybe been kidnapped or something had happened to him. What happened?
I went to the toilet. It wasn't a number 2, by the way, for anyone thinking the bad side of it. No, it was just a number 1. Just time when we was coming on live, so yeah, I had to hurry it up.
About 30 seconds or so, so don't worry about that. We are, of course, on Twitter, hashtag WNR174, and we've been obviously tweeting throughout this weekend. And we just like to shout out people on Twitter, Sheldon Chanzu, Patrick Mason, and of course Mark Tardis, one of our favourites, that have been there. And other shout outs as well that people have emailed in, the WNRpodcast@gmail.com. Dan?
Yes, we've got Sabi's Hopper. 205 Live has been the best thing for the past couple of months. Why is a cruiserweight match still on the kickoff?
Do you want to take this or do you want to take it?
Go on, no, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, I think the reason why is that not enough people watch 205 Live. It's no longer used on Raw, so there's even less means for it. I'm surprised because it was on the Kickoff even, because the last few title matches have only been on the actual episodes of 205 Live. So I think, does it deserve to be? I think the level of action we've seen for 205 Live, I think it does. But if it happens to another thing, what's your thoughts?
I think it does deserve a place on the main card. Or do they have enough depth in 205 Live to have their own pay-per-view, something along the lines of an NXT takeover style length, one with only 5 matches, but they get given a good amount of time?
I think there's a chance. I think they tried to broach it early on in the year when they had the 205 Live tour. That would be test. They did a few shows, and well, if we've not heard anything, that doesn't necessarily mean it's done and dusted. But you don't know. But you hope the cruiserweights get a little bit more airtime and are involved actually on Raw or SmackDown as well. So it is a shame. As for being the best thing, I mean, NXT for me still. I don't want to argue, but NXT is still pretty strong compared to 205 Live. But you know what I mean? I mean, 205 Live has been doing quite well. Anyway, Gwen Blanchard said, why is there such a big deal about pay-per-view? They should only be treated with respect anyway. So, Gwen, alright, so that's come on, a woman. Dan, your relationship with women, over to you, mate.
Thanks. Well, I might be part of the controversial characters part 3, but no, I think it's a good idea. We've had... there's normally just 1 or 2 women's matches on a lot of pay-per-views anyway. So having one with only the women's focus, I think, it's a good idea. It's certainly not going to take anything away from the product, and hopefully it should highlight the standout characters from the women's revolution.
Yeah, and I hope now there's not a chance to go back to the old ways of how the women were treated. You look at Attitude Era pay-per-views and, how enjoyable they were. But the women's bra and panties matches and like gravy bowl matches with no respect to them whatsoever, was there? So at least now you've got it, and you've got 2 or 3 matches on pay-per-view. I think there is a respect there, always. I mean, for us on the WNR podcast, I can say that we've been big proponents of the women's division back in 2015 when we first started doing it. We were looking at NXT and Sasha Banks and Bayley and Charlotte and everybody there. So we can't be accused of it. I think it's a good thing because it highlights it more. If there's a chance for it to have more, I think that's fair enough. Or maybe in the future you could have pay-per-views where there are 6 women's matches and 2 men's matches, and do it like that, or say this. So I think there's room for improvement at both sides. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Dan, help.
Yes, no, I completely agree with what you say. There's a lot less women on the WWE roster, so you can't expect more matches from them. And tonight you've got 13 matches. You've got 3 or 2 women's matches.
Yeah, two women's matches.
Well, both the women's titles are being defended. One of them is a threat match. There is certainly a lot of room for personal women's feuds as well going on there. There's a lot of them. Sasha Banks versus Bayley would certainly be a headliner.
Yeah, it certainly would. And the good thing is Rousey's kind of been a co-main eventer now in the poster alongside Brock Lesnar. Plus we've got Zelina Vega and CN against Lana and Rusev, so they're involved there. So like I said, there are storylines, there's room for improvement there.
Belong Prince. Apollo Crews is one of the most underrated superstars in the WWE. Why do they sign them only to not use them?
Well, I read actually an interesting thing the other day about this is the fact it's like WWE are stockpiling wrestlers. And it's good to have all the talent in the world, but it stops other companies from using them. And that might sound like bad or harsh thing to do, but WWE were doing this back in the 1980s when they were taking all the best talent. They didn't need to just did. And I think this is the thing now with NXT. You see how packed it is with talent, and even in the main roster, someone like Apollo Crews kind of completely forgotten about. And there is talent like that, like the Bar, where have they been on TV the past few months and stuff like this. That Cesaro definitely deserves a push. I think with Apollo Crews, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of stuff to work on. I think the original mistake was bringing him up from NXT a bit too soon before he could accomplish anything. Do you think Titus Wells' slide is going to help him out? What are your thoughts on Apollo Crews?
Titus Wells' slide hasn't really helped him out too much. I know they was on Raw, I think teaming with Bobby Roode, going against the Authors of Pain and one of James's favourites, Mojo Rawley.
You had to bring it up, didn't you? You had to bring it up.
I'm sorry, but it was just part of the point. He's getting airtime. I think that is a good thing compared to a lot of wrestlers. With Ty Dillinger, he was sort of getting a massive push, and then it's kind of died down. During the Last Man Standing match, on TakeOver, there wasn't many 10-10-10 chants, was there? So
Yeah, that's true.
they're kind of putting that to the back burner. But I think mainly WWE is signing them just so no one else can have them.
Yeah, I think that is the actual reasoning for it. Ludi Williams says Brock Lesnar has been a success for WWE. Don't know why everyone keeps bitching about him. So Dan, why are you bitching about Brock Lesnar?
Well, are you sure your name is not Paul Heyman? Because I read or heard something about Paul Heyman saying that Brock Lesnar's title run has been more successful than CM Punk's because the stock price when CM Punk was champion was $18, $19, $20 a share, and since Brock Lesnar's been champion, it's gone up to $80. I know there's a lot more brand recognition for Brock Lesnar, but I think it's the fact that Punk defended his title 5 or 6 times more than Brock Lesnar did during his reign, or has done during his reign.
Yeah, I think that's the case. You know, you talk about Brock Lesnar being a success. Has he really brought any more eyes to the product, any more money in as merchandise, or sold more tickets? I think that's an argument you can say that, but I don't think any kind of anymore. Yes, they got a figurehead like Cena or Reigns, but there's not a guy that kind of shifts the needle, you know.
Well, CM Punk put it great. Whether he's there or not, people are still going to watch the product.
Yeah. And this is the thing, is that we're still going to talk about it no matter who is in it. It doesn't matter. For us, we're looking towards SummerSlam. We're not actually looking towards seeing that certain someone. And that was different 20 years ago, where it was Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of leading the charge, you know. And I think that's what someone like Brock Lesnar, it doesn't matter what we think. The WWE now can do what they want. They've got the number of subscribers to the network. You know, things are going well, like you say, with the stock price. So, you know, this is the situation that we're in. But with Brock Lesnar, I feel Brock Lesnar has not been a success because he's not tried. And I think we watched earlier SummerSlam yesterday, Punk versus Lesnar, one of the best matches he's had since coming back, because he actually sold for Punk and it was a proper match. He then realised he didn't need to do that, and the past couple of years they've been awful. You know, even the AJ Styles match at Survivor Series, people go, "Oh, no, that was a good match." No, it wasn't. Look at it. You know, it wasn't nice, and I think it's good for him to go away. But I feel WWE shouldn't rely on him so much, you know, and be like, "Oh yeah, because he's a kind of legit guy." WWE fans don't want that. We don't care if he can beat up, you know, Mark Hunt in the UFC. We want to see a guy that is there defending and we can be proud of as champion. And I don't think wrestling fans, I don't speak for all of us, I don't think we're proud of Brock Lesnar as a champion, you know? I didn't know I was going to go rant that long, sorry.
Well, and this is one of... I remember you being a huge fan of Brock Lesnar, absolutely admiring what he does and the way he does it. You've got all his lights saved, you know, it's something... I don't know, it's a sad state of affairs,
I
but...
just had to get it out.
Yes, thanks for that.
Well, you take the next one.
Well, Saranap Major, whatever it is, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but they say, sad to hear the passing of Jim the Anvil. I remember watching the Heart Foundation versus the Brainbusters on Saturday Night Main Event, and tag team wrestling hasn't been that good since. Well, we went back and watched them against Demolition, and it was a very entertaining match. They tell really good stories during the matches, and as far as tag team wrestling not being that good since, I kind of disagree. I think they are still telling a very good story with tag team wrestling. You've had so many great tag teams. You know, if you go back and listen to our greatest tag teams ever, we had 3 at the top because we just couldn't pick between them. Dudley's, Hardy's, Edge and Christian. You go back and watch any of their ladder matches, any of their TLC matches, and, you know, you'll just be sat on the edge of your seat amazed at what these 6 guys could do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there, but also the beauty of the Heart Foundation and the Bulldogs before that era was that you could do stuff with not taking as many risks, even though they were risk takers. You know, like I say, what the Hardys and Christian Dudley did was far, perhaps too far, and even say that. Whereas Heart Foundation, the very kind of what they did and what they stood for and what they were, kind of what I want a tag team to be anyway, because you've got the kind of the smaller guy, you've got the big guy, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, always going to get the hot tag, wasn't he? You know what I mean? He was the power in it, and Brett was a technical guy. Matching outfits, even though they were pink, I still think were really, really cool. And of course, you know, the Heart Foundation, the theme tune, and you know, the feuds they had. I think the 80s was a kind of great time for tag teams, much like it was with Edge and Christian and stuff like that. And I hope we do see tag team wrestling like that again. I mean, there is hope, but as for proper tag teams, the Heart Foundation were a proper tag team, and like I said, Jimmy Anvil Neidhart will be missed. Incidentally, we will be talking about Jim a little bit later on the show, and reading out a couple of tributes for him as well. So thank you everybody for your shout. A few more in a little while. At the moment, the WWE Network's kickoff don't start for 20 minutes. You know, we've got ages on them. We'll bring you updates from that. There should be a couple of kickoff matches as well. We've got predictions, and we'll probably talk about that in a bit. But should we have the second episode of 205 Live, Dan?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So it is our second episode of 205 Live, episode 90, 14th of August, and of course 2018.
They start the show with promotion for tonight, and then a Remote Championship will be defended at SummerSlam. It's on the Kickoff show, of course, but it's happening. Drew Gulak challenges Cedric Alexander. Is it finally Gulak's time?
I guess we'll find out when we do the predictions for it. But Leo Rush is out for a promo, calls the fans lucky, and says they're still stuck living in a garbage city in an embarrassing state, but they got the honour and privilege of watching him do what he does best and better than anybody else on this planet. He calls Cesaro one of the best cruiserweights in the world, but his problem tonight is he's facing the very best cruiserweight, Mr. Leo 5 Live. He should have kept my name out of his mouth because now he's going to feel the rush. And I tell you something, not a bad promo, but you're not a fan of Leo Rush, are you?
I'm not, no.
What are your reasonings behind it?
I don't know. I just think he's an idiot.
Yeah, when we say you can't just because he's what is it? What's idiotic about him?
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of him. I just don't like him or who he is or what he stands for.
Well, he's a great in-ring athlete. We've seen that on 205 Live.
Well, that's your opinion.
Since he debuted. He's quick. He's good in the ring. Look at him running around now. He's quicker than Tozawa. Uh-oh.
Not that quick because he got caught by Tozawa.
Well, Hurricane Run led by Tozawa and Leo Rush into the bottom rope. I like him. You know, I mean, you can see he's got a cocky attitude, and I kind of like that. He's come in, he said he's the greatest cruiserweight, and he's just thrown something at Tozawa. Oh!
Well, went to kick Tozawa, but Tozawa caught his leg, and his bracelet went up in the air, and now Tozawa looks set to go flying. Oh, but Rush walks away like a cowardly coward that he is. Well,
it's clever thinking by Leo Rush. He knows Tozawa likes to hit that move, and he says enough's enough, uh-oh. But Tozawa clubbing blow from behind, bringing Leo Rush back.
Well, if he's the greatest, why is he walking away from a fight?
Maybe he's just taking his time. Maybe he knows Tozawa's going to do that. Lovely handspring there, taking Tozawa off the apron. You got to remember, he's still a young man. He's still learning as well. Now we're going to see him go flying over the top, maybe. No.
Baseball slide, but Tozawa steps out the way. He lands on his feet, gives him the old rope-a-dope, and clocks him with a big right hand. Tozawa's going up top.
And Tozawa is entertaining to watch as he's now off the top. Lovely drop kick. Rush gets sent up, back down, but gets his shoulder off at 2. And now Tozawa getting frustrated. Of course, he wants another chance. And that cruiserweight title held by Cedric Alexander, beating Leo Rush here, will prove a point. These two men have been on the wrong side of each other since Rush debuted.
Well, he had Leo set up for the top rope senton, but Rush grabs his leg as he was about to climb up top.
And Tozawa now just stomping Leo Rush. Well, that was nice by Leo, sending Tozawa into the ring post, shoulder first. Nice back suplex, goes into the cover, but Tozawa's up at 1. And now Rush has got Tozawa down. Maybe submission and just clubbing blows as well. And now on his back, and Tozawa, I don't know, because Leo Rush is very slender. You know, he is quite a small guy, even for the cruiserweight. So You got to think how much it is for Cesaro to hurt and how much it is just an annoyance. You know? He's got Leo Rush on his back at the moment, but Cesaro trying to get back into it. And just as Cesaro fights out, Rush catches him with a forearm. Now Irish Whip reversed by Cesaro. Drops his head low. Rush runs past it. Sunset flip over.
Oh, kicks him straight in the chest. Standing senton.
Oh, no. Leo Rush got his knees up for that one. And Cesaro hit one move and Rush had a scout at the other one.
Well, you know, you're saying he's small for a cruiserweight. 160 pounds.
Yeah, 160 pounds. I mean, how tall is he?
He's 5'6".
So 5'6". So even Ricochet, you know, is as much bigger guy than Leo Rush, and he's going to find that. It's very surprising he's going to be a heel as well. But at this moment in time, he's putting Cesaro down with shoulder blocks. Like I said, the confidence of him as well. Snap their takedown, and now into the submission. Now Cesaro getting out of it with Rush with the strikes. Irish Whip Cesaro into the corner. Cesaro with a boot up. Comes running in, but Rush again dodged it. Went for the bicycle kick. Cesaro caught it. Send Leo Rush doing a moonsault. Land on his feet low.
Kicks him in the face. Leo Rush gets tied up in the ropes.
Well, that was impressive there by Rush until he got hurt.
Now Cesaro goes flying with that suicide dive. Takes him out.
And Cesaro screams. I think he feels the end is coming. Throws Rush back in. And Cesaro now running into the ring. Charging in. Head scissors and now it looks like an octopus stretch. Rushing in all sorts of trouble now. And he's fading fast. And Cesaro looks like he's going to teach him a lesson. He's got the arm. And we talk about Cesaro's size. I mean, he's a bigger man. Rush has to carry the body. But he's got the strength flow to get out of it. Turn it into a pin. Cesaro gets his shoulder up. Rush again with a cover. Nips up this time. Goes for the nice kick. Cesaro's a bit rocked, but shoulder up at 2.
2. But, you know, it's his comment, you know, on Emma when she got released. You know, he says, I guess these are the things that happen when you're not truly ready for Oscar.
And if it was tweeted by someone who'd been on the main roster for a long time, people would have laughed at it. But Rush had just joined NXT. We covered the story at the time. And it probably wasn't the smartest move. But at that time, Oscar was, you know, undefeated.
Well, you know, even Bray Wyatt chimed in saying, you ain't going to make it here with the Wolves, kid.
Yeah. Well, that was what we covered at the time. Sometimes people make mistakes. And because he's young, you forget, look how many mistakes Randy Orton's made.
Well, even your guy, Buddy Murphy, said, oh, Leo.
Yeah. But look how many mistakes Randy Orton made. And look how many chances he got to rectify that. So Rush has made one mistake in his young career, and he's hoping to make a fresh start of it. So you got to give him a chance. He's here on 205, one of the best cruiserweights in the entire division, Akira Tozawa. Tozawa now has got Rush. They're on the top rope. He's trying to suplex him, and Rush showing his strength, hanging on at the moment. Takes out the legs of Tozawa. Tozawa landed hard. And now this might give Rush a chance. Hits it. The frog splash. Beautiful. Tozawa. 1, 2, 3. Gets the job done. Impressive by Leo Rush. Dan, what are your thoughts on the match?
It wasn't terrible, you know. There's nothing super about the match, though. You know, it was just a standard match between two guys.
Yeah, very generic, but yeah, two-step match. But the thing I like about it, though, is the fact that Leo Rush is coming into it, and Tozawa's there. Obviously, he's kind of like a veteran now on 205 Live, if you think about it. Been around for quite a while, and helping Leo Rush kind of being accepted in 205 Live, a couple of victories over him, actually still mean a little something there. I'm sure the rivalry will continue, but I think it's all good for Rush as we continue.
Well, they show a replay of Mustafa Ali being 10-2 after his match last week. Then they cut backstage to Drake Maverick. He was asked for an update, and DM, the GM, said, Ali has been suffering from severe exhaustion. He took some blame for it before saying Ali won't compete in a 205 Live ring until he's satisfied that Ali is 100% again.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. We saw the trainers, EMTs, referees down at the end of last week's main event when they were checking on him, and it didn't look good, did it, to be fair? But Hideo Itami defeated Trent Newman via TKO, where Mike Chioda stops the match.
Well, Itami could have beaten Newman a few times, but pulled him up before the 3 count. The referee stops in and calls for the bell before he can hit a third missile drop kick on his non-responsive opponent. After the bell, he heads back to hit his GTS replacement move.
Well, Cedric Alexander hype video putting over Drew Gulak as a threat, but vowing to hit the lumbar check at Summerslam so the age of Alexander can continue.
Drake Maverick greets Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy, congratulating them on their win last week. DM the GM also points out that Murphy wasn't the legal man when he got involved to allow Nese to pin Kalisto. So next week, Drake is giving Lucha House Party a rematch in their style, a tornado tag. Murphy says, "You're the boss," and the heel duo exits.
We learned TJP versus Noam Dar that will be next week. That'd be something to look forward to.
We've got Cedric Alexander versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, and it's our main event. Gallagher is out alone as the Brian Kendrick and Drew Gulak watch for a monitor in the back. Jack evades and taunts, but when they engage, Cedric uses his quickness to get the best of a technical exchange. After a bit more showboating, Gallagher heads to the outside, slides under the ring before Alexander can dive. He comes up behind the champ on the other side and blindsides him.
Cedric recovers quickly and regains the advantage, but the action returns to the floor and Gallagher backs Alexander most hard. Back in the ring, the gentleman sets to punishing the champ as the announcers point out he's targeting Cesnek to soften up for the Gulak on Sunday.
Well, several 1 counts off a net breaker, but the champ won't stay down. Gallagher drags him to the centre of the ring and slaps on a straight jacket hold and then a full Nelson. Cedric tries several ways to escape, but Jack never releases the hold, and we can see him now. He's got the submission in, and it's Cravat, and he's just taken all the breath, all the air out of Cedric Alexander. Cedric finally gets out of it, and now he's going to try to suplex him. Well, that was nice. That's 2, and now maybe we're going to see the 3 amigos.
He's spinning round. Oh no, Jack Gallagher with a backslide for the 3rd.
Gallagher catches the leg low and delivers a brilliant back elbow. And now handspring.
Step up Inseguri.
To kicks. No.
Gallagher managing to kick out.
I was about to say kicks him so hard on the head as well. You can see the bruising. They really have, you know. You talk about that. And now it looks like Cedric going to go for lumbar check, but Jack's stopping it. He knows how dangerous this move is. He gets pushed off into the rope.
And Gallagher deposits him to the outside, but Alexander lands on the apron, kicks Jack off. Springboard takedown. 1, 2. Oh. Only getting a 2 count.
2. Well, Cedric's fought Brian Kendrick, a couple of weeks ago. He fought gentleman Jack Gallagher. Now he's got to fight Drew Gulak at SummerSlam. It's been a tough road to SummerSlam for Cedric. And if he can come out of it, the other side, let's talk about the age of Alexander. He'd probably be one of the greatest cruiserweight champions we've had, especially as he's been the kind of only one since the rebrand. But Jack gets a victory here. You got to think that he's going to be next in line down the road as well. So it's going to be interesting times in the cruiserweight division. Irish whip to Jack, but he's holding on to the ropes. He's a bit of his ring experience there with a back elbow and then sending Alexander on that second rope.
Well, it's like a bulldog, and Jack jumps over the second rope to the outside and just hangs up Alexander on the second rope and then comes off the top with a knee to the back of Alexander's head, goes for a cover. 2. Oh. But Alexander managing to kick out. He's looking for the crossface.
Yes, gentleman Jack's trying to get the crossface in. He's got the arm lock, but he hasn't got the grip around, and now he has.
And he's wrenching back on his on Alexander's face.
And Cedric is close to the ropes, but we know how dangerous the gentleman can be with submissions.
And we know how dangerous this submission can be.
Yeah, Cedric rolls up. Jack has to let go before he gets pinned.
Gallagher with some straight right hands to the head of Alexander, but he responds with a chop.
He's taking a bit of time as well. And Cedric, I think, has got the more explosive strikes at this moment in time. He's got a kick, lumbar check.
No, Gallagher turns it round into a dragon.
And he's got him in the middle of the ring. Cedric is stuck. And Cedric, one last escape attempt.
Well, turns it into a falcon arrow. Incredible resiliency here from Cedric Alexander, managing to turn a dragon sleeper into a falcon arrow.
I can't fucking believe it. What a match again on 205 Live. These two guys really bringing it. And Cedric trying to get the crowd behind him.
Well, it was a falcon arrow.
Arrow. Jack's up on the apron.
Alexander looking to bring him in the hard way, but Gallagher steps through the ropes, deposits Alexander out there, and walks into a boot from Cedric.
Now Alexander off the top. Jack rolls out the way.
Oh, and then follows him into the corner with a running drop kick. Goes for the cover. 2. Oh, but Alexander getting his left foot on the bottom rope there to break the count.
Well, that's how much punishment he's taken. He had to do that because he didn't have the strength to get the shoulder up. And now Jack rolling him into the middle of the ring.
Picks him up with a gut wrench.
What power by Jack. Oh, my God. That didn't look pretty. But it's
But it was
effective.
Goes for a cover, but only gets a 2 count.
2. Well, Jack's shaking his head in disbelief. In the corner, runs in. Oh!
Spanish fly to Gallagher. 2, 3.
Oh, Spanish fly out of nowhere.
I'll give him that.
Oh, my word. And he beats him with that, not the lumbar check. He escapes, but I think the injury to the neck is still going to be there at SummerSlam. Not a long way away now. Jack gave it his all. What do you think of the match?
Now, me yawning is not a sign that this match was boring. No, good match, highly energetic. I do love watching Jack Gallagher in the ring and Cedric Alexander. I think he's a great talent and well deserved of holding the Cruiserweight Championship.
And we'll find out Sunday where Kendrick and Gallagher have fallen short. Will Gulak be successful? That will be on the kickoff of SummerSlam, where we are now live. So I suppose this will be along the show somewhere. But it's a couple of great highlights here in this match. What have you thought of the last couple of episodes of 205 Live?
They've been entertaining, again progressing towards what's going on with Cedric Alexander and his troubles with Gulak and co. You've got the Mustafa Ali story as well. He's been suffering from exhaustion. You've got a few little backstories as well going on in there. You've got your personal problems, Hideo Itami, and whoever Hideo's got problem with this.
Probably a lot of people at the moment. Yeah, Leo Rush and Akira Tozawa.
Don't care about him.
TJP, Noam Dar, Buddy Murphy, and of course Tony Nese as well. So the guys that I quite like. But wait a minute, Kendrick's up in the apron, gets knocked down by Cedric. Jack Gallagher back in, and he's getting cut off by forearms, clothesline over the top.
Kendrick in though.
Well,
Look for
like
the captain's hook.
Oh!
Lumbar check to TBK. Where's Gulak?
Well, Kendrick got sent flying with a lumbar checking his Gulak from behind.
Got the Gulak locked in.
Oh my God. Well, if he gets the Gulak locked in on Sunday, if he gets the Gulak locked in tonight, it will be over. And he is sending a message there. I've got to say, he looks very impressive as we head into the Cruiserweight title showdown. That's what I was just about to say. Many short wearers in WWE, but it's good Gulak has made that choice.
And will this be what we're seeing later on as well? Gulak holding the Cruiserweight Championship aloft.
Well, he's putting it around Alexander's waist. He said, you hold it until Sunday. And that is it for 205 Live. Statement sent by Gulak. And now back to us live. So, yeah, we are live. And now, Dan, it's time for your
Raw review and SmackDown summary.
Yeah, so let's get started. And a couple of talking points for Raw this week, Dan, weren't there?
There was indeed, yes. We'll start off with the Lesnar pepper spray.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was quite a good segment. We had different opinions on this. You didn't like it, did you?
I wasn't the biggest fan of it, no.
Well, let's explain. So the past couple of weeks, Paul Heyman has been coming out and seen a different side of him, kind of like I would say beaten wife, probably not the best analogy, but like bit upset that Lesnar, has got the true power. He doesn't care about Heyman. Heyman was crying in a promo, which is brilliant, and he came out on Raw and offered Roman Reigns a chance to have a look at the kind of game plan and be the next kind of Paul Heyman guy. And as he handed the paper, and we thought Reigns was maybe going to join forces with him, Paul Heyman pulled out pepper spray and sprayed it in his eyes. Now, I first assumed it was just like water or something like that, but you told me different.
No, apparently to get a bit of realness to the segment, they actually used real pepper spray, which I think that's quite absurd. But
yeah, crazy bastard, and that's why it looked as real as it did. Brock Lesnar's music hit. He came down, beat the crap out of Reigns, put him in a guillotine choke, and then went to leave, came back, hit him with another F5, and it showed Heyman was, I love that word, with Brock Lesnar, and it was as a play all along. Why they did it a week before SummerSlam and not at SummerSlam, I don't know, but maybe it's to make you feel sorry for Reigns. But why didn't you like it, Phil?
I don't know. I just think it's just seemed really false as well. You know, knowing what Paul Heyman's like, and it was. I just didn't enjoy the segment as a whole. They could have done it a few different ways. I haven't got many ideas of that, but it could have been done a bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there was an segment you were happy with this week on Raw, Dan?
I was very happy with it, and it was right at the end of Raw, and it was it's about the Seth Rollins Dolph Ziggler Intercontinental Championship match, and of course Dolph Ziggler's got your man Drew McIntyre in his corner, and they've been causing a lot of problems for Seth Rollins, who for a majority of it has been on his own. And Seth put a stipulation into the contract stating that if McIntyre's in Ziggler's corner, Seth's going to have someone in his corner. And I could have thought it would have been Roman Reigns, depending on what happens against Brock Lesnar later on in that night. I presume the Reigns-Lesnar match would be the main event of the card, obviously, as it would be. But, they kind of delayed Seth coming out, and then eventually after Ziggler signed the contract, Seth come out and he said, well, I did say I've had some issues with travel, but they wasn't for me. And as you've got a psychopath in your corner, I'm going to have a lunatic in my corner. So, of course, big reaction. Dean Ambrose come out, and the pair of them cleared the ring and then bumped fists after it to celebrate.
Yeah, and are you happy about Dean Ambrose's return to the question of the night?
It's been a long 9 months without him, and, he's one of my guys, so to speak, and, I'm glad to see him back, and hopefully he'll be ring ready soon enough. Yeah,
no, it's brilliant to see him, and of course he'll be involved here tonight at SummerSlam, and WWE Network just gone live with their kickoff in Brooklyn. We'll give you live updates on that, but we were talking about Raw, and now it's time to talk about SmackDown. And SmackDown Live this week finished in a rather weird manner, considering this is their go-home show before SummerSlam, WWE's second biggest show of the year.
In Greenville, South Carolina, SmackDown ended with Samoa Joe better to his SummerSlam opponent, AJ Styles, which he claims is from his wife, Wendy.
Well, it was a rush segment. The Destroyer had barely finished reading the letter before the show went off the air. We hardly saw a reaction for the Phenomenal One either.
Well, they had a bit of a backstage confrontation, and WWE, however, completed the picture on their social media accounts after the show as they published a video of Styles being held back from attacking Joe backstage.
Well, in rage, Styles has been held back by the Usos and Gallows and Anderson from attacking Joe. They need to talk to the WWE Champion ahead of their SummerSlam clash.
The Destroyer stayed just out of the Phenomenal One's reach, continuously taunting him, saying he had 3 weeks to find him, but did nothing.
Well, Joe then asked AJ if he was going to make him a promise, but then he said he can't keep promises to his wife. He then left with Styles still struggling to break free, saying, they are protecting you from me.
And it would have been so much better if they had shown this on TV, but it looks like they were short on time and had to this confrontation could take place on air.
Well, during the dark match after SmackDown, Styles reunited with a club. Luke Gallows and Kyle Anderson take on Joe, Randy Orton and Shizuki fucking Nakamura.
Orton and Joe spent most of the match fighting Gallows and Anderson outside the ring, while Styles and Nakamura battled inside the ring.
Well, the finish saw Orton hit Anderson with an RKO, only for Gallows to plant a big boot on him. Nakamura then hit him with a Kinshasa, but then AJ connected the Styles slash him to get the win for his team and, of course, send the fans home happy.
And fingers crossed, WWE gives Styles versus Joe the attention and time it deserves this tonight at SummerSlam, as they certainly didn't give it enough this week on SmackDown.
And of course, later on in the show, we'll be running through the card in depth as well. But now it's time for games, and we've been looking forward to playing games. Of course, we play it on every single live show. We've got a couple of them here tonight, a couple of old favourites. We're going to start off with Dead or Alive for you, Dan. You can go first here tonight. You've got to guess if they're dead or alive. It's pretty simple, as this game suggests. So first up for you, Dan, it's Johnny Grunge or New Jack.
Oh, I'm going to go with New Jack being dead.
Oh, it's not a great start for you. New Jack is a lunatic and he is still alive. Johnny Grunge, the Public Enemy, sadly passed away, so 0 for 1. Up next, Bam Bam Bigelow or Shane Douglas.
I think I'd remember Bam Bam Bigelow if he had passed away. So I'm going to say Shane Douglas.
Oh no!
Dear.
Oh dear! Shane Douglas is still alive, still wrestling, believe it or not. Bam Bam Bigelow sadly passed away. 0-2, Dan. This is awful. Right, now up next. Come on now, you can get this one. Guy Dudley or Big Dick Dudley?
This one's going to be a toss of a coin. I'm going to go with Big Dick Dudley being dead.
Yeah, you got one right. You got one. Big Dick. I'm sorry, I shouldn't celebrate someone's death, but Big Dick Dudley did pass away, and Sign Guy Dudley, for all intents and purposes, is still alive. So there we go. That was dead or alive. 0-1. So I have to better that now in your game to see who come out on top, and then of course we've got a decider as well. So what game do you want to play, Dan? It's up to you.
We go with Elephant or F1.
Hey, Elephant or F1. So if I do badly in this, it means we'll have to have a kind of shootout round, I suppose, and that'll probably be born in. I'm not saying I'm going to do badly here, but let's see what happens. So, Dan, please, sorry, you can take over now.
Are you ready for the first elephant or an F1 car?
We should explain, to anybody who never listened to the show, what are the rules?
The rules are, I'm going to make a noise, and it sounds either like an elephant or an F car. They sound quite similar, but James has got a guess. I've got a card here with elephant and F1 written on it, and I'm going to have it selected already, and then you're going to have to guess.
That is
which
why
one it is.
you cannot cheat with this as well, because like I say, we'll work out the winner here. Otherwise, it's pointless.
It is indeed, yes.
So, Dan, please take it away. Oh, now that is a difficult one. That is a difficult one. I'm going to say elephant.
It was an F1 car
Oh.
going past at high speed.
It's 0-1. All right, second one then. F1 car.
Oh, James.
Oh, no.
It was an elephant.
Fucking hell, 0-2. All right, third time then.
Third time lucky. Alright, I'm going to select a card. I've got my card in hand. Are you ready?
Yep. Right, quickly, elephant.
F1.
Ah, fuck, I didn't get one.
0 for 3.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And this is not fixed at all. So, Dan, you're 0. We got 1 right. I've got 0 out of 3. That is terrible. So we'll play Born In then. It's a new game. Dad, will explain for everybody what the new game is?
Well, Born In, we go on to Wikipedia. This one has got a bit of a Summerslam theme to it. And this is all wrestlers that are, because James is a wrestling know-it-all. And so I'm choosing anyone who's ever wrestled at a SummerSlam. And I think, James, your SummerSlam theme is main events.
Yeah.
Wrestlers at SummerSlam.
So anybody that's main event in the SummerSlam from 1988 until present day is included in my picks. And Dan, yours is anyone from SummerSlam.
Anyone that has been at a SummerSlam. And we get 3 questions, yes or no answers, to try and determine who it is. You know, a bit of a hint in case they're a bit difficult, because they're not easy.
Yeah.
If you need it. if I need it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll be right. So, who do you want to go first? Do you want to go first? I'll guess.
I'll go first. I've got mine ready and set up.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, well, he was born April 28th, 1981. An American professional wrestler and commentator, best known for his tenure with WWE under the ring name. He was a participant in NXT as well.
So, commentator in NXT, from NXT. He was in NXT.
He was a participant in the second season of NXT.
What year was he born?
1981.
1980. It's David Utunga.
No.
Commentator from NXT?
No, he's an American professional wrestler and commentator. So his commentary might not have been based in WWE. He might have commentated elsewhere. But he's best known for his tenure with WWE.
Right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to change rules quickly. We'll allow 3 guesses as well. Because I gave one away there. All right, so it's not Utunga. Is it Percy Jackson / Watson?
No, I think you're in the wrong ballpark of going with commentators.
Right, okay, right. Give me it again. Go on.
He was born April 28th, 1981. He's an American professional wrestler and a commentator. Best known for his tenure with WWE under the ring name. He was a participant in the 2nd season of NXT. I'll give you a little bit more. In 2007, he signed a developmental contract with WWE and was assigned to their territory FCW. On October 30th, 2007, he debuted in a losing effort. And...
in 2007, he debuted on a losing effort.
On October 30th, 2007, he debuted in a losing effort. But I don't know if that was on FCW.
So 1981, so he would be now 37? 37. Season 2 of NXT. That's going to give me a clue. So he's in the Nexus. It's anybody from some events. I'm assuming Nexus. I'm going to ask one of my questions. Is he from the Nexus?
No.
Right, fucking hell. That takes that out then. Season 2. Right, let's have a think about Season 2.
This was the easy one.
This was the easy one. 1981, Season 2. Who was the Season 2? I'm going to have to give up on this. This was the easy one, was it?
I think there's another easy one.
I'm going to say Season 2 of NXT. That's thrown me completely.
Ask some questions. You got 2 questions. Yes or no answers.
Okay. Have they won a world championship?
No.
Are they still in WWE?
No.
Fuck. That don't really help either way.
He was in FCW from 2007 to 20.
It was a long time to be in FCW, wasn't it? Did he come up to the main roster?
Yes.
And how long was
at SummerSlam?
He debuted at SummerSlam?
No, he was at SummerSlam.
What year was he at SummerSlam? That's my last question.
I can't tell you. I don't know. I haven't got that part on it.
What other clues can you give me?
I'll give you his real name.
Go on then.
Kevin Robert Killy Jr.
I have no idea. Go on, tell me.
It was Alex Riley.
For fuck's sake. Oh my god, I would never have got that in a million years. No, I don't think it was. Alright, so that's difficult. I'm going to give you a nice one now. Okay. Was born in Crawfordsville, Indiana. Was the oldest of 5 children, was raised by his mother, along with the latter with his stepfather. Right. After his father left his family when he was 12, his father died at 57 and his grandfather died at 52. So they die early. The family moved to Indiana where he graduated from Veedersburg Fountain Central High School and attended Indiana State University for a year. So the clues here, he was, I haven't got the year he was born, but his family members died when they were younger, when they should. He's main evented SummerSlams before.
SummerSlams.
SummerSlam. Wherever your 3 questions are, do you want me to find out the year he was born? If that would help you. I'll give you a clue with it. He's a 80s wrestler.
80s wrestler. There's only about 3 or 4 SummerSlams in the 80s, weren't there?
Well, yeah, he was in the 90s as well, but I can't give you too many clues. It's got to be a proper question. This is as well.
Is he still an active wrestler?
No.
I wouldn't have thought so. That's a stupid question.
No, think about one of the clues I've given you about his family.
They died young. Is he alive?
No.
Main evented. Is he part of a wrestling dynasty? Family part of wrestling?
No.
Third and final question is: did he ever become a WWF, WWE champion?
He did, yes. So you're looking for an 80s star. I'll give you clues back to you. The family members died young. He's a former. He's a wrestler from the 80s, and he's main event the SummerSlams.
Warrior?
It is the Ultimate Warrior, Dan. Well done. I think I gave you better clues than you gave me, to be fair. But yeah, you get that one. I'll give you that. You get a point. I didn't think this was going to go on for so long. But yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So you'll go to me then.
Okay. I don't think this is going to be an easy one, but I think, I've got a few clues in there as well. Right, he was born March 28th, 1962.
Mm-hmm.
Is an American professional wrestler.
Yeah.
He's best known by the ring name. And
sorry, first question. Is his ring name different to his real name?
Yes.
Right, okay.
He's best known for his tenures in NWA and the WWF as one half of a tag team.
Oh, okay.
His first national exposure was in NWA territory.
Yeah.
They departed the company in '88 and joined the WWF, where they competed in the tag team division until the team was quietly split in the 90s or 1990.
Is it? Can I have a guess?
You can.
Is it Arn Anderson?
No.
Is it the other one? Okay, go on.
Well, he's from Pompano Beach, Florida. He competed as a singles wrestler until departing in '92. So he was in the WWF from '88 to '92. So that gives you a good clue of what SummerSlams he was part of. He had a small stint in '96 where he briefly reunited with his former tag team partner.
Oh, hang on. So in 1996, he reformed with his tag team partner on WCW.
Yes.
Okay.
That is pretty much all
that is it.
that
Oh
is it.
shit! Right. Okay. So it's a guy who was in a tag team for 88 to 1990, and then 1990 to 92 singles wrestler, and then but he managed somehow. So it wasn't. So you got to discount someone like Marty Jannetty maybe in the Rockers because obviously Shawn Michaels wasn't there in WCW. You've got to think about other wrestlers who was in the NWA and then came over part of a tag team. How many tag team titles does the team win? I mean, how successful were they?
I don't think they was very successful, but I could be wrong. They did hold the 6-man tag team championships in NWA. I suppose with them and another person as well.
So,
shall I give you their WCW tag team name?
yeah, go on then.
The Super Assassins.
Oh, I want to say Ken Patera.
No.
Okay, now I got one more guess. Super Assassins.
In '86, while working out in the gym in Minnesota, he met his owner, Joe Laurinaitis, better known as professional wrestler Animal. After coming up with possible ring names with Sharky and Animal, he adopted his in-ring moniker.
It's not the LAD then, is it?
No. He sent some photos of his work to Dusty Rhodes.
That's the Rhodes baby.
Soon afterwards, Rhodes hired him and he began wrestling for the NWA. While there, he teams with Carl Kovac and won the Territories Tag Team Championship.
I'm going to say the Warlord. Put me out of my misery.
It was the Warlord. Well done.
Well, at least I got one there. Woo! That was close.
Yes, one half of the Powers of Pain alongside
Oh, Haku.
the Barbarian.
Barbarian. Fuck it. I got Warlord. Don't know where that came from. Should have talked to Mike. Don't know where that came from. So the Warlord there for mine. Wow, I think fair play. So, your one now, Dan. Was born July 12th, 1977 in Webster, South Dakota. The son of Stephanie and Richard, and grew up the parents' dairy farmer. He is of German descent. He has two older brothers, Choi and Chad, and has a younger sister, Brandy. At the age of 17, he joined the Army National Guard, where he was assigned to an office job after his red-green colour blood was deemed hazardous to his desire to work with explosives. He lost his job after failing a computer typing test and later worked for a construction company. So, clues there, Dan. I mean, do you have
So
any
77,
idea?
that would make him 4-ish.
So he grew up on a farm of German descent. I mean, he's not German, but what did Germans look like? What's the kind of prototype German?
Blonde. Blue eyes.
Is that big, you know?
Yeah. So first question.
Yep.
Is he still an active wrestler?
Yes.
Is he active in WWE?
Yes. It's two.
Two.
No, I'll let that one go as one.
I think it's a German, blonde hair, blue eyes. How many brothers and sisters?
Well, if you think about their names, right? So if you go think about his name, and then one thing I'll give you, that you gave me last time, his ring name is the same as his real name. All right.
Right.
So this might help out. So just think of like what his name might be, and then his brothers are Troy, Chad, Brandy. You know, very much hard names, aren't they? You got to think of maybe hard real names that someone has got.
Did he capture the heavyweight championship?
Yes.
Is his name Brock?
His name is Brock. Yeah, it is Brock Lesnar, Dan. Well done. You get another one there. So there, Brock Lesnar. All right, back to me then, Dan.
Right,
Fucking
your
hell.
first one. He was born November 28th, 1974, which makes him 43 years old. An American professional wrestler, best known for his work with WWE, where he performed under his real name.
Right.
This is a big clue as well. Post WWE, he's known for his work with the National Wrestling Alliance, where he's a former two-time NW heavyweight champion. He's also a 7-time tag team champion, becoming a 3-time tag team champion in the WWE, 4-time NWA World Tag Team Champion. He is currently the only wrestler to have held the NWA Heavyweight and NWA World Tag Team Championships simultaneously.
So, and
He's 43 years old, yes.
so is he still active?
He's not active in the WWE.
And when was his heyday? When did he win the WWE Tag Team titles?
I would say mid-2000s.
Fucking hell. So he used his real name.
Is his wrestling name.
His real name's his wrestling. Not in WWE as well.
His real name was... He was using his real name in the WWE.
Right, okay. So, using his real name, 2005. Still competing now. So who was champion and still alive around like that? NWA champion as well. NWA, I mean it feels like that's quite a long time ago. But I suppose it's NWA after the fact, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so 43, it's not Rob Conway, is it?
It is Rob Conway, yes. Well done.
How the fuck am I getting there? So
mid 2000s. It was 2003 to 2005.
Yeah, but I mean, there's 3 members of La Resistance, isn't there? So that was a guess. But Rob Conway, NWA, gave it away. Cause I know he's NWA pin, I think he was, or competed there as well. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf said for me. But Dan, can you get exactly the same? You are 1 for 1 at the moment. No.
2 for 2.
You're 2 for 2. So can you better me now?
We both. No, you. We are currently drawing. No, hang on a minute, because I got 1 out of your 3 in the Dead or Alive. You got 0 out of 3, so I've won it. Can this be the icing on the cake and get a in the Wikipedia?
Well, all right, no need to. So he was born 10th of August 1980 in Penwortham, Lancashire. He lived in Preston actually until the age of 6 when he moved to Wales with his family.
Stu Bennett.
It is
Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett. There you go. You get it there, Dan. That is it. Dan is the winner of games, and we'll be playing it again the next live shows that we have. My God, that got involved then with the games and everything like that, but I think it was worthwhile. We hope you all enjoyed it. So we do, though, move on to news.
News!
And the tributes continue to pour in for Brian Christopher. The Rock got to know Christopher during his early wrestling days in the USWA shortly before he was signed by Jim Ross. And here's what The Rock had to say. He said, "R.I.P. brother. Spent all week trying to process the hard loss of my good bud Brian Christopher. He became a great friend the day I stepped foot in the small wrestling territory in the South known as the USWA to start my pro wrestling career. We rode together daily, 1,500 miles per week, trained together at my gym, and we could find together at any Waffle House off the highway. Wrestled together in flea markets to state fairs, shared motel rooms together, and would always dream and talk shit about what life would be like once we made it in the big leagues of the WWE.
Once we both finally made it to the big leagues of WWE, nothing changed. We still did everything together in nightly Madden tournaments after our wrestling matches in our motel room, and we'd extend our competitive spirit to a rowdy game of wiffle ball. Imagine us acting like crazy wiffle ball idiots at 2 a.m. in the parking lot of the Motel 6.
Well, our jaws would hurt from laughing so hard, and we'd finally take our butts to bed, hit the gym in the morning, drive 200 miles to the next town to wrestle, and start the night all over again.
I'll miss those times now even more. Hurts my heart to know how Brian decided to check out. Him to be suicidal, but I guess sometimes the pain just gets to be too much for one to take. I'll miss you, man, and the good times we had. Thanks for being a great friend. Thanks for being my boy."
I mean, Mike, did you ever know that they were that close back in the day?
I honestly didn't know.
No, neither did I. So there's still tributes coming in, and again, it was Jerry the King Lawler, who the WWE legend wore a ring vest belonging to his son Brian as a tribute prior to a match against James Ellsworth in Tennessee. He shared a picture of the vest, and it was what Grandmaster Sexay used to wear. And Ellsworth also tweeted about the match as well, and he said, "Just wrestled the most emotional match of my career. Whereas can't describe the amount of respect I have for Jerry Lawler. It's a true honour and pleasure to share the ring with him, always."
And Jerry Lawler talks son Brian Christopher's death, questions cause of death as well.
Yeah, well, the legend Jerry Lawler expressed doubts regarding his son's cause of death while speaking about the ordeal in his podcast, Dinner with the King.
Pro Wrestling Sheets reported that Brian Christopher Lawler hanged himself in his jail cell and was rushed to hospital where he later died. Brian Lawler had been in jail on charges of driving under the influence and eluding arrest.
Well, a lot of people have expressed, as I have, doubts as to whether Brian really did actually commit suicide, Lawler said to co-host Glenn Moore.
Lawler said the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations is investigating the case, and fellow inmates reached out to the Lawler family to convey similar scepticism about the initial report.
Oh, well, we move on from that and to injuries. It looks like recent tweets from Matt Hardy about retirement have nothing to do with WWE storyline, as some have speculated. Hardy revealed on Twitter that he recently learned that his lower back and pelvis have started to fuse together, which does sound painful.
Yes, Hardy has talked about his match with Edge at Unforgiven 2005, where he was permanently damaged after executing a leg drop off the top of the cage. He's the same, and it's the reason why he has slowed down in recent years.
Well, he tweeted out the manoeuvre was called the event of the the maneuver was called Event Omega, and there's most likely reason that I've recently learned that my lower back and pelvis have started to fuse together.
Yes, on Friday, Rebby Hardy tweeted, "Todo tiene su final," which means everything has its end. Her tweet was retweeted by Matt.
If this is the end for Matt Hardy, he's playing worthy career, and there is no word that he plans to step away from the ring. But like you said, he wrestled on the weekend's live event show, and he might even be involved here tonight at SummerSlam.
It looks like Matt Hardy will not be retiring in the immediate future. As previously noted, Hardy noted on Twitter that his lower back and pelvis have fused together. Prior to that tweet, he was posting messages that looked like he was teasing retirement.
Well, Dave Meltzer reported Hardy's in pain, but it's not terrible pain, and will be undergoing a new rehab treatment that will help him.
And Hardy is playing things by ear right now, and his recent posts were not meant to be retirement tweets. They were just put out there to let fans know that he's not going to be wrestling forever.
Well, let's hope the new rehab treatment works for him, because his back pelvis fusion sounds like something that could get a lot worse over time. But he tweeted to Bray Wyatt goodbye, so more on the story, I guess, in the upcoming weeks.
Yes, and a tweet featuring a snippet of audio from the August 9th edition of Wrestling Observer Radio found its way to SmackDown superstar Peyton Royce's timeline. The clip featured the Observer's Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez discussing why they feel Royce and her Iconics partner Billie Kay have struggled to find their footing on the main roster. Meltzer's reasoning eventually focused on Peyton's look.
Meltzer said the Iconics get boring out there. Another one, I thought they had a cool act in NXT. I don't get a thing out of them. I don't think their promos are particularly good. Their wrestlings are good. I think Peyton Royce's transformation to look more attractive. I don't know. I don't want to say, but I don't think that.
Well, Alvarez goes on to say she was more attractive in NXT.
Well, Meltzer, I'll be Meltzer, you be Alvarez. I think that would be fair. I thought so, yes. To me, yes, I would say so, but that's neither here nor there.
No one's saying she's unattractive, by the way, everybody.
I know, no shit, yeah, I didn't say it at all, but I don't think she stand out to me. When she was NXT, she did.
You know, one thing I've noticed about NXT is...
Well, she was a lot lighter.
Yes, and Royce responded, taking Meltzer to task for commenting on her weight specifically, and his critique being an example of the kind of image shaming which negatively impacts women throughout society.
Yeah, she said, so, what would you have me do? Love myself? This is how nightmares for young women start. The females in your life must be proud.
A defence raised for Meltzer in light of Peyton's response is that Dave was attempting to diplomatically address plastic surgery she has had done before being promoted from NXT, rather than being critical of a weight gain. Even with that in mind, however, his comments are still, at best, tone-deaf in light of the strides wrestling has made in presenting women as entertainers and athletes instead of eye candy. Coming from someone who has both seen as wrestling's most well-known critic journalist, has his own critics due to his takes on women, specifically, and social issues in general. A backlash was coming regardless of how Royce got involved.
Yeah, exactly. And once she did, however, her WWE family supported her and joined in condemning Meltzer. Billie Kay said, "This is unacceptable on so many levels. How dare you say that someone is more attractive? They are lighter. You have no idea how stupid comments like this can affect someone for life. Peyton Royce is perfect, just the way she is a strong and beautiful woman." I mean, Meltzer has a lot to make up for, and we'll see if the community forgives him after that.
Well, Colt Cabana has filed a lawsuit against CM Punk, stemming from Punk's civil lawsuit against WWE doctor Chris Amann.
Can I just say, if we ever have a falling out, can we not go the Punk Colt Cabana route? Is that all right? Can we
I'm going to sue you for everything you got, you son bitch.
Well, per Evan F. Moore, the Chicago Sun-Times, Cabana is suing Punk for breach of contract and fraud after claiming the former WWE champion offered to cover his legal fees during a case with Amann.
Cabana's lawsuit contends Punk promised to help him out with the legal bills they amassed fighting the defamation lawsuit. Cabana claims Punk told him in a text that it would be 100% covered.
Well, Punk has failed to keep that promise, leaving him with unpaid legal bills totaling $513,736.
Well, Punk asked Cabana to pay half of the legal fees, which comes out to $256,868, saying you're on your own.
Well, Cabana is seeking a total of $1.2 million in his lawsuit for general and exemplary damages.
Well, a man filed a defamation lawsuit in February 2015 for comments Punk made during an appearance on Cabana's podcast about a man's medical treatment.
Yeah, and we were talking about that on the podcast previously. And like we say, after all this, I mean, it's a bad way for it to go, really. Meltzer was talking about it, and he pops his head up again. He said the reason Cabana was put through legal process along with Punk was probably because WWE wanted to turn him on Punk. Of course, Cabana didn't leave Punk's team, although later got his own counsel. Meltzer noted WWE didn't care about Cabana because Punk was the primary target of the lawsuit as well. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on this horrible way the Punk Cabana thing has gone?
You know, these two guys, they were best friends, inseparable, you know, spent a lot of time together coming up. And I don't know, I think, could it be stemmed from Cabana being jealous of Punk's rise to meteoric fame in WWE?
Well, although Cabana didn't betray Punk during the trial, it was said their friendship had fallen out beforehand. The two spoke to each other during the trial because of the same side, but it's still a personal issue between the two former friends. There were rumours that Punk was upset with Cabana because he went to a WWE show. Punk reportedly felt like he shouldn't be so friendly with a company responsible for suing them, no matter who Cabana was visiting backstage. So, I mean, there's a bit of both of the two, isn't there? You know, when it comes to it. I mean, Punk maybe just wants to get away from the whole wrestling world. If that means dumping a friend he's had for 15 years, then maybe that's what he's going to do. And out of court sentiment. So we'll just see what happens here. But now a bit of good news for you, Dan, up next.
Yes, it is music to my ears. And Enzo, the twat Amore, is closing the door on a potential WWE return. The former Cruiserweight champion, fuck knows how he got that title belt, but anyway, who was fired from WWE in January after being accused of rape, said he would not return to the ring in a million years.
He said, there ain't nobody who's got enough money to put me back in a ring. Not unless it's Creed free and I'm fighting Creed. Me and 50 Cent versus Adonis and Rocky. That's about all I got now. I called out Adonis with 50 Cent. You don't want that smoke, Adonis. I'm the best fake fighting free agent in the world.
Well, Amore, who's 31, signed with WWE in 2012 and spent most of his time with the company as a tag team partner to Big Cass. The pair were among the most over tag teams in the company. Well, that's their opinion. Until their breakup. Cass was released from the company in June after a failed singles run.
Well, Amore was a top name in the Cruiserweight division, wasn't he? And obviously until the rape thing. But, I mean, he's got a rap career now. He's put out songs called Phoenix and Bury Me a G. But he's currently being advertised for the August 17th House of Glory wrestling show. So what about that, eh?
Wow. And we get a bit of Neville news.
Yeah, I mean, listen out, Mark Tyler, if you want to know what happened to Neville. A lot of people do. Dan, we've got a bit of an update.
Yes, Triple H offered little clarity regarding the status of former Cruiserweight champion Neville during a conference call on Wednesday. I'm not 100% positive. I would need to go back and look into that, Triple H said, per Ringside News. To me, he's one of the most talented guys in the world, and time will see where that ends up.
Well, Neville hasn't competed in nearly a year. Last wrestled on September 26, 2017 edition of Wnrlive Live. He defeated Davari before being attacked by then Cruiserweight champion Enzo Amore.
Well, Bleacher Report speculated last October that Neville has grown frustrated with his role in WWE. He seemed to be staring at an upper glass ceiling in the Cruiserweight division, and his biggest matches were often relegated to the pay-per-view pre-show.
Well, Neville remains under contract with WWE, and he's still included on the WWE.com active roster page.
Triple H's comments ultimately don't represent any tangible progress towards resolving the situation.
Well, the WWE executive didn't shut down the idea of Neville wrestling again and put him over as a great in-ring talent, but this after months of Neville presumably sitting at home with nothing to do.
It seems fair to wonder where WWE actually has any plans for Neville given his lengthy absence.
Right, so we're going to move on a bit of news in a moment. We should say our first kickoff match is starting, and it is going to be Cien and Zelina Vega versus Rusev and Lana. And of course, we do predictions every time. explain everybody what prediction leagues are.
Yes, we've got 3 prediction leagues. We've got the WWE pay-per-views, we've got the NXT pay-per-views, and we've got a bonus pay-per-views as well. And, we predict the outcomes of matches. Whoever gets the most right, we get a point. And if we get all of them right and a clean sweep, then we get a bonus point. And we also have little games and challenges throughout the year as well to see if we get any more bonus points.
Well, look, I should say before we open up the envelopes now, but I've got the points in my hand as well at this moment in time. But I should say with NXT TakeOver events, we will not tell you what that is because that will be our next podcast. But pay-per-view wise, at this moment in time, we are 5-all when it comes to pay-per-views, and bonus points 10-9 to Dan. So there was we're 2-2 NXT. Will that change next event? That's how close we are. But we start off with this one, and like we say, we do predictions, and I'll go first, seeing as you went last time out. I'm going to say this one, Vega and CN.
Oh, wow. So you've gone for my 311 boy?
Yeah.
Well, James, it's not going to be CN's day. It's going to be Rusev Day.
Oh my God, so the first one we've got different. So we've got different for everything here tonight. See how close it is. Rusev's coming out. Why do you think Rusev and Lana are going to win then?
I just think Rusev should win it.
I think CN's going up. Rusev's staying the same way. I think Zelina Vega's more talented than Lana. That's why I think they're going to win it. We'll update you on that match as we go along. But now it's the Mae Young Classic. And WWE announced that the 2018 Mae Young Classic will premiere on Wednesday, September 5th at 9 p.m. after NXT goes off the air.
The 32 women tournament will continue each Wednesday night until 2 competitors remain. The finals will then take place on Sunday, October 28th. I don't know why that date's...
I don't know why either.
At the first ever all-women's Evolution pay-per-view. Oh, that's why, because it's all about women. I mean, the day, not... I'm not being sexist in that.
No, it's actually my birthday. I should say we should say that before we get complaints about it. Actually.
Yes, well, it's fitting that it takes place on James's birthday.
The
tournament will tape tonight and tomorrow night at the Full Sail University, and we'll have live spoilers as they happen.
Yeah, I mean, if people want the spoilers. But WWE has also confirmed the Mae Young announce team for this year. Michael Cole, Renee Young, and Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. It's also announced that the Mae Young Classic Bracketology special, where they're on Wednesday, August 29th, hosted by Phoenix and Mara Rinaldo. We are going to bring you a couple of big episodes about the Mae Young Classic. If it's going to be weekly, then we'll be having monthly updates on that before October 28th, and that should be great. But Dan, now it's time. We've got all the competitors. We've got our 2 picks. We've each pick a third one. We don't know any of the spoilers, so we're going to pick a third one out. I should say that my picks for the Mae Young Classic already are Kavita Devi from India and also Io Shirai from Japan. So we've got picks. Dan, yours is Tony Storm from Australia. I know this, but I've already got it written down. And also your other one, of course, if I can see her here, is... Where is she on this list? I know exactly where she is, but I can't actually see her. Ariel Monroe was your choice for second, so we want third here. Should we just run through the list of names of the Mae Young Classic?
Yeah, let's go for it, yeah. We've got Caitlin from the USA.
Io Shirai, my pick.
Tegan Knox from Wales.
Casey Canzaro.
Tony Storm, my pick.
Ginny from England.
Ashley Rain from the US.
Kavita Devi, my pick from India.
Miko Satomura from Japan.
Rhea Ripley from Australia.
Diona Peruzzo from the US.
Reina Gonzalez, US.
Lacey Lane, US.
Jessica Elaban.
Nicole Matthews, Canadian,
MJ Jenkins from the US.
Karen Q from the US.
Zatara, Chile.
Mia Yim.
Mercedes Martinez.
Alison Kay.
We've got Hiyori Matsumoto.
Zia Lee from China.
She was my pick from last year. Zuex.
Isla Dawn.
Ariel Monroe, Dan's pick.
Rachel Evers.
Priscilla Kelly.
Killer Kelly.
So we've still got some more. Vanessa Craven.
And Zia Brookside from England.
So, third pick, Dan. I'm going to write down who I think my third pick is going to be. I think this is quite easy for me. I've got it. Dan, please, will you pick a woman?
If only it was that easy. This one's just going to be off the top of my noggin. I'm going to go for Zia Brookside. Daughter of Robbie Brookside, I believe.
Yeah, she actually is. Yeah, amazing. No, we don't know. We'll find out as we get there. So Zia Brookside. Dan, can you guess who I've gone for?
You have gone for Tony Storm.
No, I haven't. Tony Storm is yours. I'll leave it at that. I've gone Isla Dawn from Scotland because she's represented in the Mae Young Classic here. So we've got our 3 picks, and of course we'll bring that to you when it all starts happening. And speaking of women, W announced last week that Renee Young would fill in for Jonathan Coachman as guest commentator on Raw. Dan, what were your thoughts of Renee Young on Raw?
I thought she'd done quite well, yes. She's a lot better than Mauro Ranallo.
What is your problem, Renee? I think Renee Young, we're talking about Renee Young here. I think she did quite a good job. In match commentary isn't foreign to her, though, as she was part of the NXT announced team and also called matches alongside Tom or Todd Phillips on Superstars. So, yeah, we know she's going to be in the Mae Young Classic. That's going to be great for her. And we'll move on to our next story. And our next story is just incredible. Do you know that, Dan? It really is. Connecticut State Court records show that former WWE and ECW star Just Incredible Peter Polacco is currently incarcerated at the New Haven Correctional Center in New Haven, Connecticut.
The 44-year-old was arrested on Tuesday, August 14th for felony criminal violation of a protective order and misdemeanor disorderly conduct. His current status is listed as unsentenced, but he does have a bond of $7,500. The case status for the August 14th incident is listed as awaiting plea, and the next activity, likely a hearing, is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 4th at 10 a.m. in Winterbury, Connecticut.
Well, court records show Credible also has a court date rescheduled for 2019 for 2017 cases he picked up. Looks like those cases referred to Family Violence Court Program. They currently have a status of waiting deposition referred to Family Relation Officer listed. Credible was arrested on Friday, March 3rd, 2017 for misdemeanor disorderly conduct and misdemeanor threatening second degree. He was then arrested on Friday, December 1st, 2017 for felony criminal violation and protective order, misdemeanor breach of peace second degree and misdemeanor criminal mystery second degree. These 2 cases were ran together for the 2019 court date. He's already been through rehab with WWE's help, and he's not sorted out yet. Let's hope he can sort out these legal problems and come back stronger.
Yes, we've got some more injuries, and Tegan Knox suffered an injury during a WWE Mae Young Classic match with Rhea Ripley on Thursday. The match was being taped at Full Sail University. The timing couldn't be worse as Knox was getting a second shot of the Mae Young Classic after an ACL tear forced her to miss last year's tournament.
Well, Triple H was ESPN and offered his take on the situation. Like most professional wrestlers fans, Triple H described Knox's current situation as heartbreaking.
Well, Tegan, to me, is a story of, last year we really wanted her to be in the tournament and she had the ACL injury that prevented her from being in it. Triple H said it took her all year to recover and she's just got rolling and really feeling good and just gets cleared. 100% banging around on it, and it's great.
Well, to come here tonight and be in a position to where, let me say, it couldn't have been more heartbreaking for her. Emotionally, it couldn't have just been more heartbreaking. I don't know at this point what happened. She landed funk in a dive and hurt herself.
The doctor backstage at Full Sail couldn't determine whether or not it was an ACL injury, so Knox was taken to a nearby hospital instead.
Well, the doctor looked at it and it was painful at the point that he couldn't manipulate the disc to see if it was an ACL. Triple H added, so we have her headed now and check what it is.
And we don't have many details, but we got reports from fans at Sunday's WWE Live event in Florence about a possible injury to the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger.
Dillinger was in a match against Shelton Benjamin, but they went to a count-out finish early after the referee did the X gesture with his arms to signal the back that Dillinger was legitimately injured.
Yes, the injury happened after a bad fall, and one person in attendance said it looked like he got knocked. We'll post an update when we get more details and they become available.
Well, what has just become available here is Zelina Vega and Cien have just nicked a victory. It was an awful ending. Cien took Rusev out the barricade. The roll-up, she was meant to get the ropes, couldn't really reach, and got the job done like that. So it does start off 1 point to nil, Dan. But I mean, there's 12, 13 matches here, so it is going to change throughout the night. But it's 1-0 to me as we begin. And more stuff. Sin Cara announced Tuesday that he underwent knee surgery.
The masked luchador tweeted the following tweet about the procedure.
Well, the Sin Cara character is currently portrayed by 40-year-old Jorge Arias, who previously wrestled in WWE as Hunico.
Arias made his main roster debut in 2011 as Sin Cara when the original Sin Cara, Louis Irvie, was suspended.
Yeah, so I hope Sin Cara comes back, but then again, not maybe the most important member of the roster, but still bad. And, well, injuries, and now we turn to unfortunate deaths in WWE.
Yes.
And WWE Network have got a new collection in memory of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, 1955 to 2018. Remember to celebrate the life and career of Jim the Anvil with this special collection. WWE posted a statement.
Yes, WWE is saddened to learn that Jim the Anvil Neidhart has passed away. Best known as the powerhouse of the legendary tag team Hart Foundation, with his brother-in-law Bret the Hitman Hart. Jim Hart was also the father of current WWE superstar Natalya.
Well, Neidhart began his in-ring career after playing professional football with the Oakland Raiders and Dallas Cowboys. He was trained by WWE Hall of Famer Stu Hart in the infamous Hart Dungeon in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and earned his in-ring nickname the Anvil after winning an anvil throwing contest.
Neidhart married Stu's daughter Ellie to become a member of the legendary Hart family before making the move to WWE along with Bret Hart, Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith when Stu Hart's Calgary Stampede Wrestling.
Now, I know this is a death, but can I just go back to called the Anvil after throwing the Anvil? That's not why The Rock is called The Rock. And if that was the case of everybody throwing their namesake, I'm worried for Adam Cole, baby. Anyway, we move on from that. And initially, Neidhart and Hart were managed by Jimmy Hart as the Hart Foundation. They wanted to win 2 WWE World Tag Team titles.
After several years of teaming with Bret's younger brother Owen and some singles competition, the Hart Foundation was in controversial fashion in 1997, consisting of Neidhart, Bret, Owen, Smith and Brian Pillman. The pro-Canadian faction stirred United States crowd into a frenzy with their anti-American sermons.
Well, Neidhart last competed in WWE in 1997, but his legacy lives on today through his daughter Natalya, who displays her father's signature charisma and toughness every single time she steps into the ring.
Yes, WWE extends its condolences to Neidhart's family, friends, and fans.
I mean, what are your thoughts on losing Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Dan?
I thought he was a great wrestler. He was the powerhouse part of one of the greatest tag teams going, and he's certainly going to be missed. And I did like his trademark ginger beard as well.
Yeah, Jim Neidhart is brilliant. Well, Vince McMahon remembers Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and WWE chairman's tweeted the passing of Jim. This is likely a passing that hits Vince very hard, as we know how closely he worked with the Hart family throughout the years. Not to mention, in Jim's heyday, Vince McMahon was a lot more hands-on with the talent. He tweeted, reflecting on life and legacy of Jim the Anvil Neidhart today, my thoughts and those of the entire WWE family are with Nat B. Nature and the Neidhart family.
Natty, she shared a very heartfelt tweet. She goes, I can't put into words how hard it's going to be for myself and our family to have to say goodbye to my dad. He meant the world to us, and nothing will ever replace the special times we shared together as a family. My dad was always a fighter and an incredibly special person. There was no one like him. I'm just going to miss him so much. We're going to hold all of the moments we had with him close to our hearts forever and never let them go. I promise to keep your memory alive. We love you so much, Daddy. On behalf of my entire family, we would also like to personally thank everyone for the outpouring of thoughts and prayers. It's meant so much to us.
And that's lovely there by Natalya. And it's horrible, you know. But we try and put a positive spin on things because we've got 4 great Jim the Anvil Neidhart matches to watch on the WWE Network. So if anybody's never seen Jim the Anvil Neidhart before, we have got 4. Number 1, Dan.
Match number 1 is the Hart Foundation and Danny Davis versus the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. And the Hart Foundation's feud with the British Bulldogs was one of the greatest tag team rivalries in WWE history. When they started having a series of matches around 86 and 87, the two teams ended up in a 6-man tag match at WrestleMania 3. With the Hart Foundation as one of the biggest heel factions to ever compete in WWE, teaming up with evil referee Danny Davis was just a stroke of genius. and putting them over that night only made the fans hate them all that much more. The heat from the crowd in Detroit that night was legendary, and the Hart Foundation revelled in every second of it.
Match number 2 is the Hart Foundation versus the Brainbusters at SummerSlam 1989. In 1989, the Hart Foundation was on the rise, and at the second SummerSlam, the pair faced off against tag team champs Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, aka the Brainbusters. In the storyline, a match was signed before the Brainbusters became champs, so the titles weren't on the line. That said, to be able to watch a young, all-pink Hart Foundation face off against 2 of the 4 Horsemen is an absolute treat. The work rate and finesse in this match are amazing, and the pure strength and toughness that Neidhart and Anderson bring to the table completed the perfect yin to the yang. An underrated classic in my eyes, and not just because it features some of my favourite all-time wrestlers, and Tully.
Number 3 was the Hart Foundation versus WWF Tag Team Championship in a best of 3 falls at SummerSlam 1990. And the things you love as a child will always have special meaning to you. The late 80s and early 90s are considered by many to be the golden era of WWF. The British Bulldogs were a little before my time, so Bret and Anvil were to me the pinnacle of a complementary tag team. Technical excellence matched with brute force, calculated execution and unhinged madness. The odds were stacked against the Foundation in this match, which made the dramatic victory that much more sweeter. Demolition had recently introduced Crush as a third member, leading fans and the Hart Foundation to wonder if the babyfaces would get a fair shake. They didn't, but it didn't matter. The LOD, new to the World Wrestling Federation at the time, they stormed to ringside late in the third fall to even the odds. The finish, with Jim Neidhart delivering a shoulder block to Crush and Bret Hart getting the roll-up pin, is pure magic. Neidhart laying over Bret after their win, unleashing his signature laugh, is a moment I'll never forget. R.I.P. Anvil.
A match for the Hart Foundation versus Team USA at In Your House Canadian Stampede 1997. I mean, Canadian Stampede in 1997 was the ultimate event if you were a Canadian wrestling fan at the time. It was the Hart Foundation, which was Bret Hart, Owen, Jim, the Anvil Neidhart, David Boy Smith, and Brian Pillman versus Team USA, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ken Shamrock, Goldust, and the Legion of Doom. With the WWE fan base being divided against each other based on the geography, it was the Olympics meet wrestling, and it was awesome. Jim Neidhart was not Canadian, but that didn't matter. His association with the Hart family was all that mattered. Following the match that night, Natty Neidhart, TJ Wilson, Harry Smith, and Teddy Hart all celebrated in the ring with the elder generation. More than any Hall of Fame induction could do, this view celebrated all that the Harts have brought to professional wrestling. Jim the Anvil Neidhart will indeed be missed. Yeah, so we should say on the kickoff at the moment, hosted by Renee Young. We've had Peter Roseberg, JBL at ringside, Booker T, David Tung and Joe the King Lawyer on the kickoff panel, and Brock Lesnar being interviewed. But the best way to really kick off SummerSlam, listen to us live. And we're going to go for a run through the news. And unfortunately, we've got yet another death.
Yes, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, has passed away aged 76. She performed at WrestleMania 3, and then when they returned to Detroit for WrestleMania 23 as well.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. There's an urban legend claiming that Mean Gene Oakland's rough rendition of the Star Spangled Banner at WrestleMania 1 was done as a substitution. That is a well-known but named singer backed out, as Oakland would say, at the 11th hour. They were pretty close to Mean Gene performing an encore out of necessity 2 years later.
That's because Franklin found herself arriving late to the venue, owing the torrent of fan-filled automobiles blocking her path to the Silverdome. Or Superdome?
Yeah, whatever Hogan thinks.
The Queen of Soul made it in the nick of time and performed America the Beautiful without a sound check.
Well, naturally, she headed out of the park, making it perhaps the best WrestleMania rendition of all time. And rest in peace, Aretha Franklin, of course, the Queen of Soul. We're going to play that clip right now.
And welcome to WrestleMania 3! And now, here to sing America the Beautiful, the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin!
our heroes through liberating strife. Far more than self.
So what a performance there by Aretha Franklin at WrestleMania 3. You know, it really great. And we come back live, and we've just seen all the GMs. We've seen Drake Maverick, Kurt Angle, and Paige looking at tonight. And we've got our next kickoff match. Now, don't worry, we're going to bring you the Cruiserweight title match in full in our next WWE Network review, which will be for September. We'll bring in the Cruiserweight title. But, of course, we've got predictions. And, Dan, it is your turn now. So who have you gone for in this match?
It is. I have gone for Cedric Alexander.
Cedric Alexander. So, second match, you got Alexander for a new Cruiserweight champion, Drew Gulak. I mean, the pay-per-view comes out obviously after this one, and the predictions, we've gone two different now, and the rest of the night, who knows what can happen. Why have you gone Alexander for in this one?
I just think the age of Cedric isn't over yet. You know, Drew Gulak's done well, but I don't think the heel's going to prosper tonight.
Well, I think the Gulak will be locked in, and the age of Alexander will be over. I think it's Gulak's flirted with the Cruiserweight title, now it's his chance. I do like Alexander, but I am backing Gulak. We'll move on to shout-outs. We do love getting your shout-outs. Apart from Panther McCoy, who says Mojo is a future WWE champion. I'll take this one down, don't worry about that. Right, the only way Mojo is a future WWE champion if you play him on your WWE 2K game. That is the only way Mojo will be WWE champion. He's to be a WWE champion, you need a few things. You need the It factor. Mojo hasn't got it. You know, you need to be a great, have a great moveset. Mojo hasn't got it. You know, people have got John Cena for 5 moves. Mojo's got 3, and most of them he's taken from Steve McMichael. You've got, you know, a kind of personality. Stay hyped. What a cunt. I'm going to say it right now. You know, he really is. And promos, he's not good on them either. Mojo's not future WWE champion. He's future endeavoured, shall we say. Thank you very much. We'll move on. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
Well, Pixley Ingram says when Johnny Ciampa can go 3 consecutive pay-per-views while making each entertaining, yet Roman and Brock can't make a WrestleMania main event half decent, you realise the main roster, mainly Raw, has a serious problem.
Do you think there is actually a serious problem on Raw with the main event scene?
I think there is, yes. I think the undercard is perfectly fine, and, you know, when you've got Roman and Brock, look at their 3-4 matches they've had, and you look at Gargano and Ciampa, I mean, you know, it's 2 completely different worlds.
But it's 2 guys that want to work for each other, whereas Lesnar doesn't want to work for anybody. You know, we talked about what Brock Lesnar wants to do. Is the thing, he just wants to destroy Roman Reigns rather than making him look good. And this is what Ciampa and Gargano, even though there's hatred on screen, you know they're working well together because backstage, you know, they're probably in each other's pockets as well. It's probably a pleasure working with Lesnar. Now, I don't think you should compare NXT to WWE because you're not going to get the same time to tell the story that you do in WWE, even though you've got more programming, you've got more to fit in, obviously. So I think there's a certain maybe way to tell it, but it's gonna be difficult. You know, I don't think Raw's got a massive problem. I think the talent is really stacked at the moment, and I think once Brock Lesnar goes away, and I think we'll then go back to what people want to see, and I think it will be better because of it. I just worry about WrestleMania time. It will change. And Seth Rollins said this, talking about The Rock's return, and he goes, if The Rock comes back in main events of WrestleMania, if we don't main event WrestleMania, then we'll never be prepared to The Rock and people like John Cena. We can't, you know, they can't always come back, and then we'll never be those stars. So it makes an interesting point where WrestleMania time comes around, you bring back all the legends. It's nice to see a SummerSlam. We'll talk about that in a bit. You've got the kind that you want to see in the news, hopefully stars of tomorrow. Winnie Hamilton said, love the show. Wonder if you're going to be looking at ECW at some point. Well, Dan, are we?
Yes. I don't know. You're the program director, James. You tell me. We're going to have a look into ECW?
We're hoping to, you know, like we say, for the big events, we will look at them. We've looked at stuff before. I think what would be a good idea maybe in the future is having maybe 10 ECW moments, or looking at it there in that way. There's a lot to digest, and you kind of want to give the attention to detail for the subject as opposed to, you know, not being there. But we have done some episodes in the past with ECW, you know, with Heat Waves and November to Remembers that you can listen to, and we will definitely do ECW stuff in the future. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, Hairdale Mendoza. And bearing in mind I'm sat here wearing my CM Punk t-shirt, by the way. They say that CM Punk is a horrible man, his ego is falsely inflated, and he has always put money over friendship. So many people have recounted how they've thrown under a bus by Punk. Hornswoggle and Corey Graves come to mind.
Well, Corey Graves was very vocal about it, wasn't he? But Hornswoggle, I've got a story about controversial characters for Hornswoggle coming up. That'll be our next episode, coincidentally, WNR175. After Summerslam and NXT TakeOver events, we'll have controversial characters. There's a story about Hornswoggle there. Is Punk a horrible man, or is he, like I said earlier, just a man trying to forget the world he came from? Does that make him horrible?
I don't think it does. No, I think his character was great. His in-ring ability was above par. Yeah, you know, there are some accounts of wrestlers saying he was a bit of a dick backstage, but you know, who's not a dick backstage nowadays?
Well, the thing is, though, is like you meet him in the airports and you tell you to fuck off or something like that. We want autographs. Of course, to meet someone who is, you know, never meet your heroes, and he's not that nice to me.
Well, we've had to do that a few times when we've gone to WWE events. They're like, oh, you're the guys from the WNR. We're like, look, just fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
We just want to go and watch some wrestling.
It gets a bash. But we've met guys like Ricochet and Drew McIntyre who have been really, really friendly, and we would have been upset, or I would have been, if they were complete dicks. And that's what I felt with Colt Cabana. When we met him, I felt he was a bit offish, like I was just another paying customer. And at least with Punk, he's not interested in that. The thing is, as well, though, is I've got a difference between someone like Colt Cabana selling the merch at table and someone coming up to Punk in like a toilet on a restaurant. Because you've got to remember that you don't, even though you love the character and you paid into the character, you don't own CM Punk. You know, Punk is an individual. He's a human being. So, you know, I can understand where people are coming from that. But it's each to their own. We've done a CM Punk special, haven't we?
We have indeed. Yeah.
And we do love CM Punk here, but we also see, you know, good people do bad things and bad people do good things sometimes. You know, it's simple as that.
Indeed, yes. Another shout out.
Yeah, Mazur Curry says, why does every superstar return bald? I guarantee that, bros. And other wrestlers, yeah, I mean, they've got a point there, I suppose, you know, but...
Yeah, I think it's, you know, Dean Ambrose, not only is he got a short haircut, but he's looking a lot more jacked as well, so he's obviously spent a lot of time in the gym. He's had 9 months downtime. I'm sure he's been bored out of his mind. But, I don't know, I just think, you know, they want to make an impression when they come back. We've seen the same with Triple H. I think Undertaker returned bald as well. You know, I don't think they have many hair versus hair matches nowadays. So,
yeah,
you know, for a wrestler, if they want a haircut and undergo a drastic change to their look or character, then they've got to do it when they actually return.
Well, I think that is true, but that's quite a funny comment there. Next one.
Oh, Brittany Franco. I know I'm late to the party, but fuck yes, my Deanie sex god is back. There's finally a reason to watch Raw other than Alexa Bliss. Thank you for once, Vince. And, well, Brittany, I'm on the same pass as you. You know, I don't think he's a sex god. He's no Randy Orton. But, you know, I'm glad that Deanie's back. And, you know, there's another reason to watch Raw other than the beautiful Miss Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you are. If you want to send your details, I'm sure we can create something.
We can gush over, or gush, that's a bit of a... No, I mean, you know, we can talk up Deanie and Alexa Bliss.
Yes,
I'm sure it'll
yeah.
be
All right, we'll move on from that. We get positive comments, we get some negative comments. June Giovanni said, this is one I comment on our YouTube channels, YouTube videos. 1997 was the birth of the Attitude Era. That was 21 years ago, and it started late 1997. Now, because we've been saying the Attitude Era started in 1998, and of course people are going to disagree. Now, okay, and Dan said it earlier. He said I'm a bit of a wrestling know-it-all, so I'm going to explain what I know.
Well, no, basically, James is going to tell you why you're wrong, but at least he's going to give you a few reasons behind why you are wrong.
Well, that's fair, isn't it? Fair crack at the whip. So anyway, what you're thinking of is the meeting before Bad Blood pay-per-view in October of 1997, when it was documented in Mick Foley's book, Have a Nice Day. Vince McMahon had a talk with the roster and said, we're going to try a little bit more edgy storylines, we're going to try a little bit different things. And they did from that point on. You know, DX, what they were doing, their kind of antics and everything like this. And you could consider it the kind of attitude change as the start of the Attitude Era. But in theory, you still had kind of Bret Hart, and Bret Hart left in November. Shawn Michaels was still around, he wasn't before. Michaels then, of course, departed after the injury in January. And then we go to WrestleMania. Now, the reason why many people consider WrestleMania as the birth of the Attitude Era is a couple of reasons. Not only Stone Cold Steve Austin winning the WWF title for the first time in the main event of WrestleMania, but also, more importantly, the promotional videos and the kind of logo change afterwards. After Austin won the WWF title, the title belt did change hands into the kind of Attitude Era title that we all know. And also, not only that, but the scratch logo was created and the old WWF logo was taken away. And, of course, the whole Attitude Era was kind of kicked in there. So that is why March, April time, after WrestleMania, is the kind of dawn of the Attitude Era. You kind of go from there to WrestleMania 17 in 2001. Is that fair enough, Dan?
That is fair enough, yes.
Right, fair enough. So let's start talking, after 2 hours and nearly 15 minutes, about the SummerSlam card. And what better way than starting with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. And let's have a listen to the kind of 8-year culmination of this feud.
I feel like we've been doing this forever.
8 years. That's how long I've been dealing with Daniel Bryan and his holier-than-thou ego.
My career in WWE began in 2010, which is when I officially joined NXT. And I guess it's important to explain that NXT was a little different back then.
This is WWE NXT, where 8 rookies are vying to be the next WWE superstar. Could it be Daniel Bryan?
Back then, NXT was divided into rookies and pros. And even though I'd already been competing in Japan and all over the independent circuit for over 10 years, I was completely new to WWE and how everything worked here. And I wanted to learn. So, I entered NXT as a rookie, and I was assigned a pro.
I was assigned to be Daniel Bryan's mentor. Of course I was a mentor, because by that point, I'd been in WWE for 5 years and was already a United States champion and a tag team champion, so I knew how to win. But I wasn't just a WWE superstar. I had come from the most popular reality show and was its biggest star, so I knew how to get ratings.
The Miz was so arrogant.
You are nothing in the WWE.
I have my work cut out for me being your pro.
You will respect me as your mentor.
Plus, he had the stigma of being a reality star.
The real world.
Back to New York. I'm the Miz.
And the honest truth, and it's still true today, is that Miz thought he knew better than everyone else. So he would take whatever shortcut he could to get ahead, no matter who he offended. I mean, he just wants respect so badly, but he doesn't want to put in the hard work to earn it.
You always respect your veterans. You never talk back, you always listen. You're supposed to be a sponge, and you'll get eaten alive without help.
I have a little pep talk for you. Where's your personality? Where's your charisma? Any one of these people could have done better than you in that obstacle course. You haven't proved anything to me. You haven't proved anything to the WWE Universe.
I'm your boss. I'm the one that makes you a star.
I was his ticket to the top. And all he needed to do was shut up and listen.
All Miz wanted to do was turn me into him. So of course, the whole rookie-pro dynamic was just destined to fail.
Daniel, you have been eliminated from NXT.
0-10. He didn't win a single match. That's what happens when a rookie doesn't listen to a pro. The great Daniel Bryan never won a match. But for all his talk about how great of a wrestler he is, he just didn't have the talent. I mean,
Yep. I lost every match in NXT with Miz as my mentor. But you know what happened when I finally got out from underneath Miz's learning tree? I had a match with Miz on Raw, and I fought on my terms with my tools, and I fought my fight. And I won. My first victory in WWE thanks to The Miz. And I realized something that night. I realized I didn't need The Miz. But maybe The Miz needed me.
Come on and fight back. We're starting over again.
So there we go. That was just a clip from NXT and the problems that Bryan and The Miz had.
The long-awaited grudge match between Daniel Bryan and The Miz was officially announced for SummerSlam on Tuesday prior to SmackDown Live.
Well, The Miz said his agents worked on a deal with SmackDown Live General Manager Paige to pave the way for one of the most anticipated bouts in WWE.
And the original story says, breaking after originally refusing, The Miz accepts Daniel Bryan's challenge for a one-on-one battle at SummerSlam.
Well, Bryan and The Miz have been at odds for years, but the heat between them really intensified in recent weeks.
After eliminating Bryan from a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Championship several weeks ago, due to help from the Bludgeon Brothers, The Miz did all he could to poke and prod at the leader of the Yes Movement.
Well, things got even worse in that regard after Bryan and Kane lost a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match to Harper and Rowan at Extreme Rules on July 15th.
And in celebration of the debut of his new reality show, Miz and Mrs., the A-lister held a special celebration on SmackDown that was interrupted by Bryan.
Yeah, Miz seemed to throw his baby at Bryan, but it was actually a doll, which allowed Miz to lay him out with a skull-crushing finale.
On the heels of that embarrassment from Bryan's perspective, he was finally given the opportunity to shut The Miz up once and for all at SummerSlam.
And like we just heard, the issues date back all the way for the first season of NXT when The Miz was Bryan's pro. They went their separate ways over time, but the rivalry was reignited on the 2016 defunct talk show Talking Smack.
Well, Bryan, who was a SmackDown Live general manager at the time, criticised The Miz for his style of wrestling and called him a coward.
In response, The Miz mocked Bryan for being injured and claiming he was a coward since he was unable to compete in WWE.
Well, since that explosive encounter, Bryan has been cleared for in-ring competition, and it paved the way for one of the biggest feuds in recent memory.
Well, while no title will be involved at SummerSlam, Bryan and Miz have showstone the potential events of the year. And I think for me, if I'm looking forward to any match, I mean, this is the true, you talk about WrestleMania caliber matches, Bryan and Miz got so much story to it. You talk about Ciampa and Gargano. You know, I think you could equal it if you played it right. And is it too soon? Yeah, I just don't know. But I think it should be a cracking battle. The crowd's going to be behind it. They're going to be hating The Miz and loving the Bryan, which they should do as well. What are your thoughts on the match?
I think it does certainly have the potential to be one of the greatest matches on the card, if not this year.
Yeah. And I mean, what's interesting as well, looking through the card, is that the SummerSlam pay-per-view now, this could be something different from the past 30 years. Like we said, a pair of big absences for the card, break a 30-year streak in SummerSlam history. It will be the first time in the events history in the past 31 years that John Cena, The Undertaker, Bret Hart, or Triple H are not competing on the cards. I mean, isn't that amazing that those four guys over the past 31 years have been kind of dominant in WWE, Dan? Are you shocked by that fact?
I am a bit, but it is good to see that they're not relying on, you know, the likes of Cena, Undertaker, Bret Hart, or Triple H on the card. You know, I think it's a good, and it's going in the right direction, not having them about.
Yeah,
you know, no disrespect to any of them, because they're all great competitors, but you know, it is that they're going in a new direction.
Exactly, and this is what we want to see. And speaking of someone that's not on the card yet, is Elias GPD, and apparently we're going to get the greatest song of all time to debut at SummerSlam. I mean, WWE only says it's Elias' single greatest song to date, but we're pretty sure that means it's the greatest song ever. We already know he'll be performing some of his no doubt soon to be award-winning music in Manhattan the night before SummerSlam, but that's not all we're getting from the Truth Elias on the weekend, the biggest part of the summer. WWE announced last night, well, August 13th, they'll have a pretty big spot of the pay-per-view on Sunday in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center.
You just go down, you'll be able to find it.
At SummerSlam, W Universe is invited to truly walk with Elias when the strumming superstar follows up Saturday's live concert at the Grand Mercy Theatre in New York City performing what he promises to be his single greatest song today during the biggest event of the summer.
Well, hopefully he gets to finish whatever angelic composition he
Has to on an unworthy world before that dang Bobby Lashley comes out and ruins everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Lashley will get involved. So we talked about The Miz and Bryan. We talked about GPD. We talked about who's not there. And let's talk about the card. Like I said, we've already had Cedric Alexander versus Gulak. Of course, CN and Vega versus Rusev and Lana. And, of course, we've got the B Team versus the Rival kickoff match. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on the B Team versus the Rival? Does this excite you?
I am, yeah. I'm actually getting quite behind the B Team. We've, we see them come up with their name live when we was at Raw.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it
yeah.
Raw or SmackDown?
No, it was Raw, yeah.
Oh, it was Raw, yeah, sorry. I get my brands mixed up sometimes. But, it was good and everyone was singing the A-Team theme along with, to their name. And I think it's great.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be good. It'll be interesting. I'm hoping for a change in the tag team division, a bit more serious. Hopefully it can be revived. But we'll see what happens there. One of the other matches, we just picked Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. This feud has been going on for ages, it seems like, and hopefully we'll get an ending tonight. There's not much exciting about that. Hopefully it'll be early on the card and be over and done with. Dan, do you want to pick one out?
We've got Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, and I think the Money in the Bank briefcase is on the line for this one. And no matter if Kevin Owens can win in any way, so if Braun Strowman gets disqualified, then Kevin Owens is Mr. Money in the Bank.
And there's been a lot of talk about Kevin Owens actually getting the briefcase at SummerSlam and walking out the second Universal Champion, the first time, two-time Universal Champion. I don't know about that. I mean, Strowman is a very dangerous man, but when it comes to qualifications and countouts, that is going to play into Owens' hand. We may be seeing a stunt here at SummerSlam, and maybe Strowman will be crowned the Universal Champion by the end of the night, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. We've got Carmella versus Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Kind of gone on a bit of the radar because of the Raw Women's title, but it should be quite a good match, though, shouldn't it?
It should be, yeah, but you've had Becky Lynch, she qualified for the match against Carmella, and then Charlotte Flair came in, had one match, and she was added to the mix. I think that's, I would like to have seen Carmella versus Becky Lynch, but, having Charlotte Flair there as well, I think it kind of helps cover up that Carmella isn't as talented as, the other two women in the match.
Well, yeah, it is a case of that. It's problem with Charlotte coming back as kind of like the number one woman in the division, if there's a problem with that. Carmella completely killed kind of Oscar's momentum at this moment in time. Will she come out SummerSlam successful? I don't know. To go get Charlotte, is she involved in the match just to walk away as women's champion,
Yes, there is that. And I would actually like to see Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch,
Yeah, they're really good friends. And, I think that could throw up a few surprises.
Yeah, you don't usually see two faces and one heel usually in triple threat matches because you don't like the kind of handicap aspect of it. But we'll pick another match then.
We've got Shinsuke fucking Nakamura versus Jeff Brother Nero Hardy for the United States Championship.
So what are your thoughts on that then?
Again, this match could be a very good one. There might be a surprise appearance by a great former world champion.
Well, you think Ric Flair's going to be in the building?
I said great, not grey.
Oh, right.
It could be a surprising result to the end of that. You're right, James.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the United States Championship match then?
Yeah, I mean, Randy Orton will get involved. Whether that helps Jeff Hardy out or if it helps Shinsuke fucking Nakamura out, we don't know. I would rather have a triple threat match, but seeing as we've got the triple threat match in the women's, then, okay, we kind of discount that. But I'm still, look, I think the match should be good if they get given time, or will it just be an angle to involve Orton a bit and continue the story between Jeff and Orton, or will Nakamura actually have a fair, as a champion? The US title is kind of hot potato at the moment. It goes from one guy to another. Can a guy actually have a sustained run with the US Championship? It's there to be seen, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. Another match?
We got the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. New Day been around for a long, long time now. Like I say, 4 years as a team. And the thing is, coming up against the Bludgeon Brothers, have been dominant, but we need to see a little bit different from them. And I think the New Day will put in a good match against them. I think the same with the Usos being involved. I wouldn't mind again seeing a multi-team match, maybe Sanity involved in this as well, just to spice up. But they did have the tag team tournament, didn't they, to get here? So the New Day did beat, of course, Sanity and the Bar to get here. So, they deserve the opportunity. You look forward to, what tag team match you look forward to more? Raw or SmackDowns?
I'm looking forward to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship more. I think the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day, we actually are big fans of the New Day in their in-ring ability. They've had some great series of matches against the Usos. And, this does, providing they get given enough time. But, looking at the amount of matches on this card, we're going to need another Jeff Hardy Nakamura 14-second match,
Yeah,
I think.
This is what I'm worried about. Looking at the card, we've got some great ones here. We've got Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. Who do you think is going to play the main factor in that? McIntyre?
Ambrose, he's a lunatic.
Would Ambrose get involved and maybe cost Rollins the Intercontinental title by accident?
I don't think so, no. I think it's a bit too soon for anything to be going on between them just yet. Keep an eye out for it a bit later down the line, but I think now's a bit too soon for that.
But isn't the problem now is that Drew and Dolph are going to eventually have a split? Know Ambrose and Rollins are going to eventually have a split. You're basically doing the same story with those doing the heels and the faces in that kind of way, isn't it? Is there how they're going to be able to play that off? Is one going to be short term and the other one's going to be long term? Are we going to see Ziggler and McIntyre teaming up next year together? I don't think so. It's the same with Ambrose and Rollins. How long is that going to take? I think it'll be interesting tonight to see the involvement. It's just a shame Teddy Long's not around to make this into a tag team match when it does all break down. So that's a bit of a shame.
Holla, holla.
Can it be a great match? We talk about time constraints or something like this. We looked at the Iron Man. Pretty good. The fans weren't behind it. Will the fans get behind it tonight in Brooklyn? Do you think he can deliver?
Hopefully tonight, yes. I was very behind the match. I thought it was a great matchup between them two guys, and the way that the involvement was used as well. But I think it's going to be an even playing field, and Ambrose is going to stop any Drew McIntyre shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, before we get on to the rest of the cards, just to kind of the three big main events. We'll talk about the rest of the kickoff. We just saw Samoa Joe giving a very long interview. I quite enjoyed that there. It was about 10 minutes long, however long it was, getting a chance to talk. Dan, you were right. Cedric Alexander did beat Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight title, so you get a point. It's 1 point all, but the third match on kickoff is going to start. It's the Raw Tag Team titles. It's a Revival versus the B Team. It's my turn for predictions, and I have gone for, in this one, if I can find them. Well, I know I've got them here somewhere. They're on that bit of paper, aren't they? That I've gone for the Revival, new tag team champions. I won't lie to you. I think new tag team champions. Who have you gone for?
Jesus Christ! Well, James, for the third match on the bounce, we have gone for something completely different. And is this going to be the theme for tonight? I've gone for the B team.
Yeah,
the B team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Revival needs a win to help out the tag team division. I love the B team, but they're not a serious team. And I think Revival, you'll like this, can be the A team on Raw if given a chance. Right, so back to the card then. And we've got Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Now this, if you're being serious about women, this needs to be the main event. You'll stop the crowd hating Reigns and Lesnar, and you can either crown Rousey in this moment or screw her out of it like Randy Orton did Daniel Bryan back in 2013. What are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to the women's title match? Are you worried about Bliss?
I am. I'm a bit worried about Bliss, but call me controversial again, but I think it's too soon for Ronda Rousey.
But I understand what you're saying there. And there was a news story that came out about Ronda Rousey. She was saying she's looking to extend her deal in WWE. Saying that she's come this way and she's a lot further along than they thought she was going to be. So they've moved plans forward. And and now they're looking to sign an extension. That would mean maybe she would only be there for a year, maybe even 2 years short term, and now she's looking to extend it a little bit longer. And they obviously had a plan for this maybe at Survivor Series. But with Rousey, you've got to strike while the iron's hot. And how many times have you seen someone being cheered and popular and then they wait too long? Look at Rusev. He's on Kickoff now, and he was, how big was he? Just a couple of months. They managed to kind of kill that heat. They're not going to do it with Rousey. Rousey's a cash cow, and I think they're going to do it here. With Alexa Bliss, I'm surprised because they've already announced that Alexa Bliss will face Trish Stratus at the women's pay-per-view, which is going to be a huge match for her. So even if she gets destroyed by Rousey, she's still got a big match in a couple of months anyway. So it's not the end of Bliss, you know?
Oh, it certainly won't be the end of Bliss, no. But again, Alexa Bliss could still, I know you hate this word, but retain her championship. If she does, some shenanigans, she could, get counted out or, or whatever to kind of keep her title in her grasp and, protect Rousey so she doesn't lose.
Rousey's got a lot of enemies, hasn't she? So that's what you get for being on top and popular. You suffer a lot of enemies with this, and this might be the problem leading to this. I think it should be great. Rousey getting a really, really strong reception at the moment, so I am looking forward to this match. All right, so now we move on to the AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe match for the WWE Championship.
Well, this has the potential to be a great match. I don't know if you've seen much of their history in TNA, but they've had some classic encounters there.
Not just TNA, in Ring of Honor as well. These men tore it up, and I've been dying to see AJ versus Samoa Joe on, and we are going to see it here tonight. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the match, AJ, though, has been in WWE for just over 2.5 years. But in that time, he has become the key part of SmackDown Live each and every week.
Well, during this time, he's been the WWE Champion for over 420 days. That means he's been WWE Champion for about 45% of the time, which has been with the company, which is pretty incredible.
It is mental. Nearly half the time as WWE Champion. While his second reign as WWE Champion could come to an end at SummerSlam, the Phenomenal One has already broken the WWE record on a blue brand, according to reports.
Well, according to Oscar number 1 on Reddit, at 281 days, Styles' reign as WWE Champion has surpassed JBL's, meaning that he's the longest reigning world champion to be exclusive to SmackDown.
The Phenomenal One is certainly very deserving of his accolade, as he produced some of the best wrestling in the ring and fans that have seen for him in years.
JBL even took to Twitter to congratulate Styles for beating his record that stood for 13 years.
He said, "My record has been broken. I could not be more proud of AJ Styles, a world-class individual and athlete. Looking forward to watching this incredible performance Sunday at SummerSlam."
The Phenomenal One's time as WWE Champion, though, could come to an end tonight. However, when he takes on long-time rival Samoa Joe at SummerSlam.
Well, it's unlikely that this is the end of his reign. We'll see him pushed out of the WWE Championship picture as he's SmackDown since the brand split took place. And you talk about the history of AJ and Joe. They've not shown it a lot. They've not focused on it a lot. But there is some real chemistry between the two. I'm hoping if they get a lot of time, then they could tell a brilliant story. If they get what Nakamura and Styles had in that time, I think it could be an even better match than that. What are your thoughts on the W title match?
Again, it's going to be 10 times better than the Universal Championship match.
It is. We're going to the Universal title match in a minute. What match are you most looking forward to tonight?
Bryan versus Miz. I think that one, it's a real personal feud. And, as much as I diss the Miz, I think both guys can tell a really good story.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see tonight. So much history to be told. Like I said, there's so many matches here that should be great. Looking up and down the card, we look at the Miz and Bryan. We look at Joe versus AJ Styles. Look at Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy. One of the matches that we aren't looking forward to. Well, you're not looking forward to. I just don't want to see the same old. It's Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. What are you not looking forward to in this match?
I'm not looking forward to suplex, Superman punch, suplex, F5, spear, Superman punch, suplex, F5, Superman punch, spear.
You're not looking forward to that?
No.
Match is going to be?
Well, it might not. we just don't know. You know, it might be something completely different. Lesnar might say to himself, "Gosh darn it, it's my last appearance here for a while," or not. I'm gonna put on a hell of a show for the fans in attendance, for everybody paying hard-earned money. All right, maybe not.
Yeah,
but,
you couldn't
know.
even say that with a straight face.
No,
like Lesnar, you know, and a majority of wrestlers, they perform for the fans.
Lesnar doesn't.
No, and the problem is, the Brooklyn crowd's going to be really harsh on them. It's going to be a long event, and if their main event is going to be such a kind of buzzkill to the entire thing, unless, of course, Strowman himself cashes in, or indeed Kevin Owens, which would end the night. You know, it'd be interesting. Anything else about SummerSlam card? What are your hopes, expectations, dreams?
I hope, you know, it's...
stands up to what we saw on NXT last night, because that was absolutely amazing. You know, I'd like to see over half of the matches be great.
That's a tough ask in
I know,
WWE's
I'm
climate.
asking a lot, but, you know, if they could do that, just please do that.
Yeah, I know. I suppose you're right about that. Oh, God. B Team just beat the Revival.
Yes.
Dan goes 2-1 up here on kickoff. Well, better be luck than judgment, I suppose. There we go.
There's no luck in it.
Dan is 2-1 as we start the main show. We should say that the next episode we do will be the SummerSlam entire event, where James makes his comeback and beats Dan in predictions. And like we said, we got The Miz versus Bryan, we got Bliss versus Rousey, and everything else on the SummerSlam card. Dan, as you cheer silently, is there anything else you want to add about SummerSlam here tonight?
B Team, go, go, go.
Anything about the card?
Oh, no, I just hope that I beat you in predictions. I hope that we get some great matches, and it doesn't let us down.
Yeah, well, we shall see. We shall see what happens, shan't we? You know, and we'll see who laughs will laugh loudest. But until then, that is it. Don't forget WNR175 Controversial Characters Part 3 will be coming up, and then the Mae Young Classic after that as well. But if you want to contact us on Twitter, you can at WWNet Review or
at Vince McDan WWE.
I'm at J_Rollins. We're across the Google platforms, WWNet Review and Google Plus. Send us an email at WNRpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. You come and find our page and give us a like with a WWE Network Review podcast. Or you can come and find me and add me as a friend.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WNet Review Podcast. We've got clips on there. And podcasts go at the same time on YouTube. We do other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
We're also, I said subscribe, but don't. Follow our Music Maker Diddley on SoundCloud. And you can subscribe to us on Spreaker Radio, where our live shows are here. We'll be back live. I think next time it will be in November for the Survivor Series weekend, but we'll keep you posted as we go along. But it's been a pleasure to be with you live for the past 2 nights. And it's been great. NXT TakeOver exceeded all expectations yesterday, and SummerSlam tonight. Well, we're excited now. Let's see what we're like in 4.5 hours. We're on iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. That is it. I have been James Rollins, and as always, I was joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.